The Better Sports Network presents the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show.
What's up, everybody? Good morning and welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show presented by Better Sports Network. We are here bright and early with you on this Labor Day morning, and man, I'm excited. I'm your host, Simon, JL, and Coop. What's up, guys?
Good morning.
What up, dudes?
Did you guys have a good weekend? You know, before we get into all the stuff, all the sports,
All
all
the
the football, how was your weekend?
I slept for the first time in my life, and it was great.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm proud of you. Did it go well? Any
It went
bumps in
fantastic.
the road?
No,
Is
I
that as
highly
good as-
recommend it. Highly recommend it if you get the chance.
Clearly, I have not gotten the chance because it is 7 a.m. here. But it's actually earlier where you are, Simon.
It is. But you know what? That doesn't even matter. 5 a.m., 5 p.m., it's all the same time. Time zones are made up. Apparently, they're in 30-minute intervals in some places. So the clock is just a figment of your imagination. It's all about whenever you want to get up, right?
That's true.
This is
Unless-
me rationalizing with how much I hate time zones, and they just ruin everything for me. I just don't get it.
I'm with you.
Don't forget to say good evening to all our buddies in Australia, where it's
Yes, down
apparently
under.
somehow 8:45 p.m. because they have like quarter time zones or whatever time.
Oh
it is
yeah,
there.
yeah. Shout out, Brad.
We got some people in the chat with us this morning. Craig, my man, he said morning, welcome in.
Good
And then
morning,
Get in the
Craig.
Game said morning, guy.
Good
It's
morning,
so early,
guy.
he forgot to ask. I thought he was just commentating on one of us being a morning guy. Like, oh, you must be a morning guy.
These
I am
guys are
not a
clearly
morning
morning
guy.
guys.
Yeah, I'm not a morning guy. Cooper, you a morning guy?
I actually kind of am. No, I
Really?
was gonna say no, but I do I get up super early on the weekends just because that's my day to do whatever I want. So I'm up early. And I'm just doing football, which is what I do every other day. But
Of course.
it's whatever football I want to do rather than the other kind of football. Contractually
Right.
obligated footballs, So
Personal football.
and I was looking up what Labor Day is actually for, and it's a holiday since 1894 where Grover Cleveland signed it into law to gain recognition of both the contributions and the mistreatment of workers at the time. So today we're going to do our best to be nice to Keith. I think that, I don't want to say that he's been mistreated on this show. Or that
No,
his
I wouldn't go that far.
contributions-
I wouldn't go that
Yeah,
far.
I wouldn't go that far to say that he's been mistreated. I think every time that he's been fired and or hired by us, it's been justified.
And
so
ethical.
today we're going to celebrate Keith. Smash that fun button
For Keith.
for the Chief Keith.
Hit
Keith,
it for Keith on this
Keith.
Monday.
And fun fact about Grover Cleveland, you guys might already know, he's the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So he served as president, didn't serve as president, and then came back and was president again. So he was both I forget the numbers, but there's a gap in between. He was our president twice for 2 different numbers whenever you go down that order right there.
He came back for his speech the second time, and he was like, I was gone for a minute. Now I'm back. Chinchilla, ice all would have fitted. Hey, buddy, talk money. Hey, buddy. I think that was Grover Cleveland, right?
Grover Cleveland, the father of modern hip hop. I see my mom in the YouTube chat. What's up, Mom?
Mama G?
Good morning. You're
Good
just in
morning,
time
Mama
for your
Grindelwald.
favorite topic, which is football. Guys, there's a lot going on. This is the first week of the season. So all these news stories that we're hearing now, like the ones we heard 4 months ago, some of them mattered. Some of them were like, let's wait and see. But we don't have wait and see time anymore. So we got to talk about these because the games are starting on Thursday.
Now or
The
never.
first one, ESPN's Dan Graziano believes Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford's elbow injury could be an issue all season. So we heard reports about this a couple weeks ago that he was experiencing an elbow injury similar to what pitchers have, if I remember correctly. And I know it's scared some people. Coop, are you nervous about Stafford or his receiving options there? Is this affecting the way you're drafting as we're approaching that final kickoff?
I'm big time nervous, man. I'm not drafting him in any leagues. I don't need to because I feel like there's enough quarterbacks. Unless it's a super flex league, then of course he has to be considered. But in your normal 10 to 12 team leagues with one quarterback, Stafford really doesn't have to be a guy that gets drafted even at all. And the thing with the elbow is he isn't going to be practicing, or a lot of times he's not going to be throwing a lot of balls in practice. He could be taken out of games in the fourth quarter if they have any kind of lead. And also, it could be like pitchers where, if things aren't going the Rams' way, at some point they just say, hey, you know what? Let's have that Tommy John surgery. We've seen Jake Delhomme have Tommy John before, and the recovery time isn't as long for for quarterbacks as it is for pitchers. Delhomme was back within 8 or 9 months, so it's feasible for them to basically sit there and say, let's see if we can play this out. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll do the surgery. So definitely pretty scared on the Stafford front this year.
How does this affect the other guys on that team? I mean, we're all of us, I think, are expecting quite a season from Cooper Kupp, as well as Allen Robinson. Does it affect those guys for you, Coop?
I mean, I already had Justin Jefferson ahead of Cooper Kupp, and now this news just basically moves Jamar Chase ahead of Cooper Kupp, but I can't move Kupp any farther down than that. So, I mean, I don't know, because just you have to remember how good Cooper Kupp was, man. Like, he was basically Antonio Brown, like a better Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if I can move him. JL, are you moving those guys anywhere?
It might be a deal, like a tiebreaker for me when it comes down to it. I'm not moving them far. Like guys like Cooper Kupp, I'm still going to have up there. Simon and I got into it a little bit last night. I honestly still think Cooper Kupp is my wide receiver 1, but the more I think about it, the more I might end up moving him behind Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. And I'm there with you. I've made that move, JL. And it's not even, I haven't even bumped Cooper Kupp down a tier. I've just flipped him with Justin Jefferson within that same top tier. Now, instead of it being Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, it is Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs. And I don't fault like Coop. I've considered that next spot. Like, where's that line? Is it just Justin Jefferson because I believe that volume is going to be there for him, or is Jamar Chase the guy that moves ahead of him as well? I haven't moved Jamar Chase ahead of Cooper Kupp. I haven't drafted him ahead of Cooper Kupp yet, but I don't hate that. I understand those concerns with Matthew Stafford. And I see Getting the Game in the chat saying, should I draft John Wolford? Probably not. Probably not. But he could likely support a wide receiver like Cooper Kupp. Not to the same level as Matthew Stafford, but I'm not super concerned about Cooper Kupp with a different quarterback in there. It'll change, but he'll still be super fantasy relevant. I see Fantasy Dog in the chat saying 10-9 is Hurts. Morning, guys. What's up, Fantasy Dog?
Fantasy Dog.
And Brad Bolt's in there, dude. He missed our shout out to we already shouted out Australia, Brad. You got to get up. Well,
you missed the Australia.
I was gonna say you need to get up early, but it is the night over there. You got to get in
get up even earlier.
Finish brushing your teeth a little earlier to make sure you get in here to get those shout outs right there. Better Boss in the chat saying NFL week 1. Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up, Matt?
Good morning.
Sure. Guys, the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, another Dan Graziano report. He said, don't be surprised if Colts running back Nyheim Hines sets career highs in catches this season. Are you guys reading anything into that? Do you believe these reports that Nyheim Hines is going to be more involved in the receiving game? And 1, does this make you want to draft him? 2, does this affect Jonathan Taylor? Does this lower his upside for you a little bit?
Do you guys remember what happened in week 1 last year regarding Nyheim Hines? No memory.
It was incredible, right?
They just fed the absolute heck out of him the whole game. And then I bid on it, and then they just stopped using him completely the whole rest of the season.
Because they remember they had Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, they remembered they had an amazing running back there, not Nyheim Hines.
I don't think this
I'm
changes
not falling for this.
It doesn't change anything for me because I already had Taylor as my RB2 in full PPR because
behind Nyheim Hines.
I mean, Nyheim Hines did get more. He did get more targets last year than Taylor. They both played 17 games, and Hines got more targets. That's a fact. That did happen. And that's part of the reason why I have Christian McCaffrey ahead. Because, Christian McCaffrey had 37 receptions in only 6 games. Jonathan Taylor had 40 in 17 games. It's pretty easy math to do on the PPR front. But you're drafting Jonathan Taylor for his rushing ability, the same way you're drafting Derrick Henry for his. So in standard half PPR formats, I don't see why Nyheim Hines playing would change anything. Nyheim Hines did play last year. You know what I mean? He's a punt return guy and a dude that kick return guy and a guy that plays on some pass downs. That's what he is. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, Coop. We're a little too in lockstep so far today, Coop, but Christian McCaffrey is my RB1, and it's because of that receiving upside that we already talked about. I wasn't considering that necessarily as part of JT's upside. Yeah, he'll get receiving work, but it's not going to be anything insane. I buy into this a little bit, not too much, but this may be like we talked about tiebreakers earlier. If I'm in those later rounds, I'm looking for a 3rd, 4th running back. Nyheim Hines is the kind of guy that could have flex value just because of that receiving role. So this maybe makes me a little bit more interested in drafting him, but I'm not reaching on him. I'm curious where Nyheim Hines is going in drafts right now. It looks like he's going 111th overall. So what is that? That's in like the 10th round. Are you guys comfortable with, would you draft Nyheim Hines in the 10th round?
For sure. Like when you do, especially, it depends on what build you're doing, but if you're doing like hero RB or zero RB, which seems to be gaining more mainstream popularity, especially hero RB, where you draft one high-end RB and then wait, like you have to draft a bunch of running backs and you have to draft two different kinds. You have to draft like lottery ticket high upside plays, and then you need to draft people that you can start right away. Nyheim Hines is a guy where if I did zero RB, I would actually feel okay about having him as my RB2 in that lineup. Whereas then you have to, have guys like Alexander Madison who, could potentially be huge if Dalvin gets hurt, but before that they have no standalone value. So it's like you have to balance the standalone value versus the upside, and Nyheim Hines is one of those guys that I think I'd be okay with starting if I was going with that strategy.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. Roster build definitely makes a difference in like the kinds of players that you should be drafting in those ranges. Right. And Nyheim Hines is the perfect guy that has standalone value, but that upside's not there. He doesn't have like top 10 upside at the running back position unless things got real crazy. Nope. Guys, the next one I wanted to bring up, the Athletics' Jeff Zrebic believes that the Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely is the closest thing to an answer that the Ravens have as a third receiving option. Coop, you've been fairly outspoken on the show about third receiving options and what they mean for fantasy. So does this bump Likely up into the range of guys that you might be taking shots on late, or no interest this year?
I'll go as far as to say, nah. He's a guy. The thing is, especially with the Ravens, like that offense is set up so that the top two targets really get funneled the ball, because they use the fullbacks, they use the second tight ends. So it's going to be Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely, unless you're in some sort of like deep tight end premium league, like maybe the Scott Fish Bowl or something where it's like 11 starters and it's tight end premium. Unless it's that, he's not going to be able to really crack the top 12, in my opinion. And the reality is there are 32 teams and only 12 tight ends are relevant for fantasy football, and maybe not even that. So Isaiah Likely to me is more of a handcuff plus at tight end, which in most formats is not a guy you can use.
JL, as the Ravens fan, do you agree with Coop here?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be a low passing offense. Mark Andrews is the guy there. Isaiah Likely could be utilized, but I think it's going to be akin to Devin Duvernay or James Prochet in the sense that like they have big plays, but they don't have necessarily big, consistent fantasy performances.
Yeah. And I would say use the guy in DFS, but the cat's out of the bag now. We're like, everybody loves this guy now. So it's not even a cool play anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you got to try and be a little more sneaky than picking the most exciting backup tight end, So
right.
What's your interest level in Dynasty? Like, is this a guy you're looking to stash or not when he's sitting behind Mark Andrews?
For sure. My if I had to put it on a sticky note and give you one cheat code for tight end in Dynasty, it's roster talent, start opportunity. So you want to get as many good guys that you believe in their profile, you believe in their talent.
Fully agree with that.
Onto your roster. But if you're going to compete now, you need opportunity. So if I'm trying to compete now, I'm going out and I'm trying to get Kelsey, Pitts, Andrews, guys who are either the top target or a top two target on their team. But I want to have my bench full of these guys that I think are talented enough that their window is going to open at some point. Like we always bring up Delaney Walker. You had to wait 7 years for him behind Vernon Davis. But when he did break out, he was a top 5 tight end like 3 years in a row. So you hold on to that talent. Dallas Goedert is another one who was kind of stuck behind Zach Ertz. You want to hold on to the talent, wait for the window to open.
Guys, we have a question in the chat here from Marty. He wants to know, you guys doing sit start? If so, Lance or Stafford? We'll answer your questions if you guys got them. Throw them in the chat. So week 1, who you guys starting? Are you starting Trey Lance or are you starting Matthew Stafford? I can tell you their matchups. Trey Lance and the 49ers are going up against the Chicago Bears. And then Matthew Stafford, I believe they play on Thursday night, right? Against the Bills. That is the season opener, Bills at Rams. So are you taking Matthew Stafford against that Bills defense, or are you taking Trey Lance against the Bears week 1? That's a fun one, isn't it?
That one is pretty fun.
That is That is a fun one. Like, do you want the quarterback with the injured elbow going up against a great defense week 1, or maybe the player who is starting on this team for really the first time? I know he got some time last year in the NFL, but it's a big unknown what Trey Lance is going to look like against what is probably an easier matchup. This is tough. Coop, where are you leaning on this one?
What I lean onto Vegas a lot of times when I'm deciding my quarterbacks. So I look at it and I say, okay, what does Vegas think about these games? Does Vegas think this game is going to be exciting? Does Vegas think the Rams are going to win? And they do. The over-under for that game is 52.5 points. And they think, the Rams have a 2.5 point spread, which at home you get 3. So they kind of, Vegas likes the Bills this year. But
for the people who at home who aren't maybe as familiar with betting, what does that mean? What is the spread?
So the spread is, so the spread is basically whatever the favored team is gets those points. So if you want to bet on the Rams to win, they have to win by 2.5 or more for you to win that bet. So if you were to bet with the spread on the Rams, but then they were to only win by 1 point, you would actually lose the bet. It's a kind of a way to bet even money on games. They try to even it out. Or you could just bet on
based on skill and stuff like that.
Exactly. Or you could just bet on the Rams to win, but you're going to be paying like $100 to only win like 70 or something like that.
Right.
That's how those lines work. Then the over under is they set the total points scored by both teams as a number, and then you got to bet whether it's going to be over that number or below. So for this one, 52.5, anything over 50 is considered a high number for that. And it gives you a good idea whether the game's going to be a shootout or not. Now we go over and we look at the Bears and the 49ers game. The over-under for that is 41.5. Vegas expects 11 fewer points to be scored in that game.
That's pretty low.
That's about as low as they make them.
We saw a couple high 30s last year, right?
The Patriots-Bills game in the snow, like there are a couple bad weather games that will go into the high 30s, right, Joe? But I can't remember last time I saw one go 35 or below. You have to 38, 39 is probably about the lowest you're going to see for the most part. But I mean, that's a huge difference. And it tells us that the high that, but again, then you have Trey Lance's rushing upside. So he might be the higher upside play. It's like a risk versus reward thing. Stafford is a safer player. And obviously Trey Lance is the complete wild card.
Give me Trey Lance. Give me Trey Lance. I'm not scared of the Chicago Bears defense. And if you drafted him, you probably drafted him to play him. You drafted him for that upside. And this is a matchup that I think he can exploit. So I'm going with Trey Lance over that safety. But I get it if you want to plug Stafford in. JL, where are you going?
This is really tough. I'm gonna end up going. I'm gonna go Trey Lance. Lance. I want to see how bad the shoulder is for Stafford.
I want to see it too. We got Stormtrooper in the chat saying, "What up? What up, Stormtrooper? Welcome in." Guys, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up today. We're going to talk some key fantasy matchups. We're going to talk about matchups that we're excited about in week 1. Maybe it's ones that you're excited just to clear something up, or ones where it's got a lot of players that matter for fantasy. We're going to be playing a new game on here. We're going to be playing some fantasy football match game going on. And then we've got some hypothetically coming up a little bit later as well. Our friend Nando DeFino is going to be joining the show. And we're going to be doing some team rankings, some NFL team rankings throughout the show as well. So make sure you stay tuned. Guys, download the Better Sports Network app and be part of our live talk shows. Call in, chat, and enter contests with the push of a button. It's just one button, now available in the Apple app and Google Play stores. And tell all your friends to download the Better Sports Network app.
Do it.
Speaking of cards, I got 2 things I want to bring up, and I got them ready for the show today.
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if you ever played this Topps Home Run Challenge game.
No,
like
I
a genius. So I'm in love with Adolis Garcia. So basically what you do is you scratch off the back, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a code, and you go and you punch it in, and then you have to pick the game that he's going to hit a home run in, right?
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that before.
And then if you do that, you get like a special limited edition card, and it's limited to how many people actually picked he would hit a home run that month.
Cool.
And then you could double down if he goes over 425 feet, you get like an extra special card.
Yeah.
So I went on eBay, like, because I like Adolis Garcia, because all the rest are like big names. I got 6 of them, and I totally forgot to punch them in. So I got the plan. I think they're coming up Colorado soon or something.
There you go, right there.
I have a month left to punch in 6 Adolis Garcia home run cards.
There you go.
We
Congratulations.
can do that live on the show if you'd like.
Sure.
Here's a second one.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna like this. I was at Target, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And
That's pretty cool.
It was Garbage Pail Kids Bookworms, it's called, and it like makes fun of like book stuff. This is one of the greatest cards I've ever got in my life, and I'm trying to probably buy more. You see
Nice,
that
I like
there?
that. That's pretty dope right there.
It's
That's
Winnie
pretty dope.
It's Winnie the Pooper,
Yeah,
and he's
I like
he's
that.
pooping on. Look at that.
I like that. That's dope right there. That's clever, Nando. You know,
This is the best card I've ever seen in my life. It's worth
when I was going to
$1.50.
elementary school, right, in the Washington Heights area in New York City, you used to walk down Broadway, and on Broadway and 150th Street, it was a dude. You would go in there, and he used to sell like, you know what I'm saying? He used to sell the Garbage Pail Kids in the morning before we go to school. So
Nice.
everybody was in that store buying Garbage Pail Kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, just get that. So I'm up to deal with the Garbage Pail Kids. I think that's pretty cool.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah. I mean, you see the little poop emojis right there too. That's a
It's-
cool card, Nando. Yeah,
Right? You can get it for
Uh-huh.
like $2.
I like that.
I don't know why. This is my favorite thing in the world right now. I don't even know what to do with it. Like I want to hang it up on my wall or something. Like it's just so. Who comes
Yeah.
up with Winnie the Pooh pooping on Winnie the Pooper?
I like that.
I gotta find something. They even have the balloons the same color as like the actual Winnie the Pooh
Yeah,
cartoons.
I like
Yeah.
it, Nando. That's sweet.
Anyway,
That's
sorry.
clever.
I just wanted to share that with you. I'll never
Thank
grow
you.
up. That's that'll be old man Corey. Wait a minute. Hey, turn your bass down. I'm going through my Winnie the Pooper
turn
collection.
that NBA young boy down. I'm trying to do a show over here. What's going on? No respect. All that boogity, 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 all loud.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk. Sports talk done better.
We are back, everybody, with the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We just finished talking some news that was going on today and answering some questions, and we're going to get into some key fantasy matchups in week one. Some week one matchups that have an impact for fantasy football. Before we do that, I see a question in the chat from Getting the Game. Wants to know, should he start Saquon or Zeke in week one? Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott? Man, I don't know how far into these start sits we want to get, but I feel like some of these are good players to talk about. Know what I mean? Like these are players that people are asking some questions about. Zeke or Saquon. Saquon recently has risen up, depends on when you did your draft. But these guys could be your third running back on your team, depending on when you did your fantasy football drafts. Are there does one of these names scream to you as the player that you want to start this upcoming week?
So here are their matchups. New York's playing at Tennessee in week one, and Tampa Bay is playing at Dallas week one. Sunday Night Football for that one.
Yeah,
Those
dude,
aren't the best matchups.
I'm not starting Zeke again. I'm a big Zeke fan, probably the biggest, and I'm not starting Zeke against the Buccaneers. It's one of the better run defenses, and on top of that, I'm a big believer in setting your lineup week one the way you drafted it. Like you drafted Saquon Barkley before you drafted Zeke. Like, why did you do that? Right? If you're going to start Zeke Elliott against one of the best run defenses in the league, then why did you draft it the way you did? So for me, I'm going to go out and start Saquon. If you have Zeke on your bench, what you should be doing is firing out trade offers.
Yeah, I'm also a big Zeke fan, probably bigger than Coop. If we can fight about it, Coop, see who's the bigger Zeke fan.
We're going to have to.
But I'm also starting Saquon. I'm scared of that Bucs matchup. It doesn't matter really who the running back is. Now, like, start your studs. Know what I mean? I'm not going to be benching one of my top guys. Like, if I have Jonathan Taylor, I'm not benching him whenever he's playing the Bucs because I'm scared of that matchup. But you've got another great option here in Saquon. So if I can avoid that matchup, I'm going to, and I'm going to start Saquon. JL, do you agree with Coop and I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bigger Zeke fan than the both of you, I would say. Really, I was the OG Zeke fan on the show, I would say. Yeah, Chicago, their run defense is not fantastic. You're talking about one of the easier run defenses versus
what
one of the
about
more
Tennessee
difficult
though?
No one's playing Chicago.
Who's Saquon?
No
actually
one's
is
playing Chicago, are they? My goodness, it is way.
I thought you
too
were a
early
big
for me.
Zeke fan. You don't even know who they're playing.
Big Zeke
dude.
fan. Don't even know about the Tennessee Titans. No,
About
I'm
the Tennessee. JL doesn't even know
about the
anything
Tennessee.
about
I
the
don't know
Tennessee.
anything about the Tennessee.
Let me tell you a little something about the Tennessee.
My point still holds. Chicago is definitely a little easier than Tennessee, but Tennessee is definitely easier than the Buccaneers when it comes to run defense. So give me Saquon. It is hard for me to believe, or it would be hard for me to sit Zeke, assuming that you drafted him in the first 5 rounds. I don't want to sit any of my players that I'm drafted in the first 5 rounds in week 1, if I can help it.
Yeah, who's your flex if you're having to decide to bench Zeke? I usually like a wide receiver in that flex spot, but I'm down to talk running back or put a running back in there if it's high upside like Zeke. Guys,
with these starter sit questions, I just want to make sure people with these starter sit questions, do your best to give us as much info as possible. So let us know if it's PPR. Let us know if it's standard. Let us know if you're asking for a DFS lineup. I get that sometimes when people are like, oh, I was actually talking about DFS. That's why it was between these two guys because they're similarly priced, but I don't have them both on my fantasy team. That makes sense. And that might change our answer because sometimes you want to go with the contrapuntal play if it's a big DFS tournament. So sometimes I might say, you know what, it's close enough. More people are going to be on Saquon, so go with Zeke. So give us as much info as possible with these start sits.
And getting the game said, asking for a friend. Yeah, not my team. Not my team. I'm not making this decision between Saquon and Zeke, but my friend is.
Maria in the chat says Saquon.
Saquon,
we got
Giants
some agreement
fan. Guys, I wanted to talk some fantasy matchups for week 1, and I was going to kick us off with one that I'm excited about watching. And now this is probably going to sound like maybe not the most exciting week 1 game, but there's just a couple things that I want to see in this game that I'm excited about. And that is the Saints versus Falcons week 1 matchup. I feel like there's just so many questions that I have on both of these teams. I want to see Jameis back out on the field. What does he look like? Are they unleashing him a little bit? Is he chucking the ball around? I want to see Michael Thomas back out on the field. Does he look fully healthy? The most recent reports look like he's going to be playing week 1. Is that Jameis-Michael Thomas connection going to be something that's for real throughout the season? How involved is Chris Olave? Like, we got a rookie wide receiver who could be a big part of this offense as well. And then on the Falcons side, Drake London, rookie wide receiver. I want to see how involved he is. He looks to be the next target after Kyle Pitts. And then the ever important question, the one is someone who loves drafting hero and zero RB. I want to see this backfield. Is Cordero Patterson leading this backfield again, or is that rookie Tyler Algier going to come in and take some of these snaps? There's other names back there, but I just feel like there's a lot of unknowns that we'll get to know a little bit better from this week 1 matchup between the Saints and the Falcons.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that could have the most impact on waivers, right? Because a lot of those guys are right at the fringe of your more like casual leagues. I mean, Jameis Winston is a guy that you could, put that I think is a dark horse to lead the league in passing yards with the weapons that he has, right? And especially at the odds that you get betting on it. But like Chris Olave is on waivers in some leagues, even Jarvis Landry potentially on waivers in some leagues. So Tyler Algier, like you said, a lot of these guys could potentially be out there in week 1. We could get so much movement that you end up adding these guys. Also, the Saints defense could be a big defense for you. So definitely an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Are there any matchups? So that's one of my favorite ones. Are there any matchups that stand out to you guys, like ones that you're excited about watching, either from this is going to be a high scoring, we need pieces of this matchup, or from a like questions answered standpoint? I feel like week 1 is big for questions being answered.
Yeah.
San Francisco. Go ahead, Coop.
I would just say from a standpoint of getting people in your lineup and using people in DFS, the Raiders-Chargers game. That's another one where we talked about over-under early. That over-under is set, I think it's at 52.5, so the highest of any game this week.
I will confirm. That's
going to be, or it's either the highest or close to the highest. I think the Chiefs-Cardinals might be up there too. But that game is going to be wild, dude, because both those teams not only have crazy weapons, but they also added a bunch of crazy pass rushers, right? Like the Raiders now have Max Crosby, and across from him is Chandler Jones. And the Chargers now have Joey Bosa, and across from him is Khalil Mack, right? So that is going to just be a crazy bloodbath game.
That's nuts. Are there any particular players, like, let's talk a little DFS right now, because we were talking DFS and maybe from from a rostership perspective, are there any players there that you think could be sneaky starts from that game to throw into your DFS lineup? Maybe not like the main guys, but someone that maybe is a little bit less rostered on in your DFS lineups that you think could be a smart play.
Yeah, I think that you could get away with doing like a Justin Herbert, Gerald Everett play. Because I don't really love
Gerald Everett call.
Yeah, I don't really love him for season long, but this is the exact type of matchup where with all the weapons they have and this being a super high scoring game, he could go out and catch 1 or 2 touchdowns and just have a monster game. Like that's what you want out of Everett. Like we know he's going to score touchdowns. It's just a matter of when, because Jared Cook was scoring touchdowns on this offense. On the other side, do you guys like anybody on the Raiders? I mean, it's hard to find a sneaky play on the Raiders because we kind of know who the main characters are.
Yeah, there's not really a sneaky guy for me on the Raiders. Maybe Waller is the sneakiest of the guys. Know what I mean? We just saw Renfro do it. Devontae Adams, people are hyped for. Maybe Waller's kind of the forgotten piece a little bit, even though he is one of those top tier tight ends. Like Waller could be the guy that of those three, I could see him being the least rostered. So maybe Waller's that guy. And we were talking, it's going to be a high scoring game. There could be plenty to go around for all of these guys to eat.
Yeah, I'm going to make at least one lineup with Amir Abdullah in it. He is crazy cheap because so we know that Josh McDaniels is bringing over the modified Erhardt Perkins system that he's run in New England. They've run it over there for like 20 years. They've never had a running back get both 200 carries and 35 plus receptions. That's going all the way back to when Pete Carroll was a Patriots coach, and it was like Robert Edwards and Curtis Martin. Like those are the last guys to do the full role. It's been a split role the whole time. So I think there's a real chance that Amir Abdullah is in that James White role, and you can catch people off guard if the first game of the season is when you bet on those kind of things. It either happens or it doesn't. But this is your last chance to get away with it if he is in that role where James White got 6 targets and 6 receptions in both the first 2 games last year. Then in week 2, everyone's going to be using Amir Abdullah, or his price is going to go up. So I feel like it's the last chance you get to pull a sneaky on everybody.
Man, do you have any idea how happy it would make me to play Amir Abdullah in a lineup and have it go well for me? Do you have any idea how many times I've played Amir Abdullah in a lineup and it just hasn't gone well? I don't think it's ever worked, but I buy in every time there's that little bit of hope for Amir Abdullah. I don't know what it is about him, but he just draws me in. I get excited.
Yeah. He was electric that first offseason. I think that's what it is. So we all have the Amir Abdullah hope. So get him in a lineup. Get him in one lineup.
Get him in a lineup. Also, I see Craig just throwing IDP over there in the YouTube chat. He said Divine Diablo is a sneaky start for the Raiders if you got any IDP leagues that you're playing in. We got to get up to speed on our IDP. Craig knows he's the man whenever it comes to that, but I'm just a little lost on the IDP right there.
Get him on here. Divine Diablo is a top 5 name in the league, probably, right?
It has to be.
Amazing.
First name and last name are top 5 individually, and then you put them together and it goes up there. I also see Craig saying on offense, though, Mac Hollins is a sneaky sleeper as the wide receiver 3. Do you have any interest in Mac Hollins, maybe from a DFS perspective, Coop?
I would say my interest in Mac Hollins is somewhere just shy of 0.
Just shy of 0. Doesn't even reach 0. JL, do you have any interest? Oh, looks like we're having some difficulties with JL.
What difficulties? Can you hear me?
Okay,
now
we're still having
Just
difficulties
muted.
with JL, but now we can hear him.
Difficulties.
Right. It's even worse
Like
now.
you said that like something else was
Oh,
wrong.
now we're having even bigger difficulties with
Oh,
JL.
my
actually,
goodness.
now
We're
that we
having
can
bigger
hear him.
difficulties because we can hear what he's saying. It's way worse now.
Can we just undo Control Z somehow?
Sorry, what were you saying, JL?
I was saying no. I have no interest in Mac Hollins. It's apart from just deep leagues where you need to stash somebody.
I will say that I kind of said that just as a joke, but if you look at their roster, they did cut everybody, and the roster essentially is Mac Hollins as the field stretcher, Renfro as the slot, Adams as the split end, and then they have a dude that's basically just going to do returns, and then Tyron Johnson that's kind of the backup for everybody. I don't even know if a wide receiver gets hurt, they're going to have to go find somebody like Will Fuller or something because they only have 5 wide receivers. Yeah, Josh Gordon, bring him back.
Bring
him back.
Getting the games, just can't wait for that
Auto
game. Plus the way it ended last year. Yeah, that one was that was so much fun to watch, the end of that game. The Chargers Raiders game with what was the exact situation that happened at the end where the Raiders did something with not kicking the field goal, but it ended up backfiring. I can't remember the exact narrative. Do either of you guys remember exactly what happened?
No, I just know I've never rooted so hard for a tie in my life. That's the way
I was
game,
sitting
right?
there just cheering for that tie, and it got ruined.
Yes.
One more sleeper that we could throw out there. Foster Moreau is a sleeper in Las Vegas. You're a tight end man, Coop. Do you think there's any hope in starting Foster Moreau week 1?
I mean, in DFS, where you're just trying to get crazy, maybe. I mean, there could be a setup where they do a lot of. They're either going to need to use Mac Hollins. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty doo-doo setup for Foster Moreau and Mac Hollins. But what they're probably going to do is either the big problem with the Josh McDaniels offense is that he uses a fullback. You can't have a viable third wide receiver when you use a fullback, because whenever the fullback comes in, that third wide receiver comes out. So even if the fullback is playing 15 or 10% of the snaps, that maxes out the number of snaps that third wide receiver can play. Every time Foster Moreau comes into the game, Mac Hollins comes out. Every time Jakob Johnson comes in the game, the third wide receiver comes out. So you're going to see a limited snap share for that whole group. That's what limits their upside. So if you're playing Foster Moreau, you're really just hoping he steals a touchdown.
Is there anyone who sounds more like a villain than Foster Moreau in the league?
It is kind of a sneaky name, like with Snidely Whiplash type name.
Foster Moreau.
See, really, I got a completely different vibe. I got like a farmer's market vibe. Like he's back there selling like rutabagas and leeks behind a table.
Foster's honey.
Foster Moreau's farmer's market stand. Know what I mean? And he's like just a real good guy. And if you forgot your cash that week, you're running a little low, he'll spot you.
It's all right. Put it on his tab. He's looking out for the neighborhood.
You know, you need your leeks this week more than I need my $5.
On down to Little Foster.
Betsy, it is okay if you just take them this week. I know you'll be back next week. You're good for the money. We're good.
If you want a villain name, dude, Divine Diablo is great.
Divine Diablo is 100% villain.
The Divine Diablo is definitely
Foster
like
Moreau's boss.
Yeah, that's a villain name for sure.
Yeah,
they're the child of a demon and a celestial, and they just came together and created Divine Diablo.
Foster Moreau's the villain you think it is the whole movie, and then Divine Diablo is the guy who is in the end. You got to fight.
Yeah, getting the game says we're slowly giving other occupations to everybody on the Raiders. Last week we decided Hunter Renfrow was a pen salesman, and this week we've got Foster Moreau as a farmer.
That's right,
a community-focused farmer. There was
That's
one
what you come here for.
Who has the most presidential name, and why is it Alexander Madison?
Alexander Madison, 100%.
Without a doubt, Alexander
Madison.
There's nobody else that even comes close.
Not even
what was I saying? You guys messed me up with Alexander Madison. As soon as you started singing Hamilton, my brain just like immediately went into like full on Hamilton. You guys just want to do a live re-recording of all of the Hamilton songs for the rest of the show? Keith, is that cool?
Keith.
Let us know in the chat if that's cool.
He said yeah.
Okay, cool. He said yeah. Okay.
Dibs on being the king.
Pulled up. Okay. Dibs on being all three of the sisters. So I would like to sing all of their parts simultaneously, if that's okay.
I'll just be Hamilton.
Let's start with that.
I guess I'll be the main character there.
Joey in the chat. I am costumed and ready. FYF Hamilton.
I fully believe as soon as Joey heard that he went and put a full-on costume on.
Yeah.
There's one more game I wanted to talk about in this segment. I wanted to talk about the Packers versus the Vikings. This is another fun game. We got a new offense coming in Minnesota. At least we assume so that this offense is going to look different. And then this Green Bay team, there's a lot of uncertainty about what the receiving game is going to look like. Who's going to be the lead dog? Is it going to be Allen Lazard? Are we going to see one of the rookies step up? Or let's not throw out Sammy Watkins in this offense. Maybe it's Sammy Watkins as the guy. What are you guys looking for in this game, in this Packers-Vikings game?
Which wide receiver is going to be the wide receiver for Mr. Claybelly Aaron Rodgers? That is probably the biggest question we all want answered.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually interested in the Viking side. I want to see what this offense looks like with Kevin O'Connell. I want to see if KJ Osborne,
how many touchdowns Adam Thielen can catch?
1 million. I want to see if KJ Osborne can can step up and be the dude. I want to see if they're going to continue to use Dalvin Cook as the one back, or whether they mix in. They now have 4 backs they like over there. They've always liked Cook. They've always liked Alexander Madison. They like Kene Nwangu. He ran back 2 kicks last year, and he's been kind of exciting. And then they also like the guy they drafted, Ty Chandler, out of UNC. He's had like a crazy offseason, and Twitter he's become a darling of the Bird app, that Ty Chandler. So interested to see if they're just going to roll with the one guy or if they're going to get a little crazy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up on this show. We're just getting started on this Labor Day morning. Up next, I'm excited for this. We're going to be playing a new game. We're going to be playing fantasy football match game. We'll explain to you guys how that works in a moment, but I'm real excited to do that. Then we're going to be talking some last round flyers, some guys that you can take at the end of your drafts. I know I've got another draft coming up on Wednesday, so some of you guys probably have some last minute drafts. So we'll be talking about those flyers you can take in the last round. We'll be playing some more hypothetically. We played a couple times last week. We're bringing it back. I think Coop is running the situations for us this week. So Jail and I are gonna come up with the answers to your hypothetical questions. We'll talk some team defenses, and our friend / rival, I'll correct it this time, Nando DeFino is coming on with us a little bit later as well. So make sure you guys stick around. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Darren Ravel's here, our very first guest ever. The Action Network. Darren, thanks so much for doing this, man.
Of course, anytime I could be the first guest on anything, not to downgrade you, but yeah, no, this is great.
Darren, if I can go back to this Mickey Mantle thing real quick, this $12.6 million, do you think that would have been like 20 if this happened like 6 months ago?
This makes sense. I mean, you have such a beautiful card. The story about they couldn't get rid of these things because it was the high numbers. And the whole story on the mantle, like basically it was the high numbers. So it was the second set of cards that came out. Kids had already moved on. And then like by 53, they're like, wait, that's the old ones. That's 52. And they couldn't really sell any of them. So they dumped them off the barge. And, so you had a scarcer versions of the 52 cards. Listen, I think crypto had people spending a ton of money, obviously. And so I think there's probably a little bit of a downturn, but I think where you see most of the downturn is things that don't make sense. And, to me, I just think, yes, there's still things that I'm just absolutely shocked about. But even in memorabilia, even by looking at Heritage last night, man, I think I had $59,000 in bids that all lost. It seems pretty healthy out there in the collectibles market.
Tell us about this Hugh Hefner Viagra pill container. You know what I'm saying? I've heard the stories about it. How did is it prescribed? Did you go to was it that CVS filled it? Like what? Like how did you come across that? That's a cool piece.
Yeah, listen, people think it's funny, but like it is what it is. I just saw it. There was a estate sale from his ex-wife Julian's Auctions, and his pill bottle was up there. And it said it was worth $1,000. And I was like, I don't think it's worth $1,000. I mean, it's the greatest party trick of all time to show. It is his real pill bottle from the pharmacy. Hefner, you, take 1 pill prior to sex, 2 if needed. It's great. No pills inside. But I did spend $8K on it, and the way people, I wish you would have told me you were going to tell. I would have brought it here with me. But it's in a vault, and when I know that I need to pull some trick at a party or something, I might bring it out. But it's a good item. You need one of one stuff. I think that in this world, I think it's worth it to protect yourself in getting one of one stuff. It doesn't have the same liquidity because you can't say, oh, that sold yesterday for this. But I have comfort in that.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
And we are back here with the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
It's in the game.
It's in the game. I'm so excited to play this next game.
Pretty sure that's copyrighted. But.
No, absolutely not.
I
came out with it.
It's copyrighted by us now.
I came up with that. Yeah.
Someone go after anybody else that might use that. I don't know anybody that could. Let's get our lawyers on that to pursue them a little bit.
Let's play a match game. I'm loving it.
Let's just do it, guys. Squirrel Bob in the chat saying Sammy week 1, then Lazard rest of season, because we ended talking about Packers. Here's what I think is going to happen. Here's my bold prediction for the season. I know this is getting a little wild. We're not going to see week 1 Sammy. We're going to see week 2 Sammy. Sammy's going to rest week 1. It's not going to be a lot. People are going to be like, oh, Sammy's not going to happen. And then week 2, we're going to get that stereotypical. That way, nobody benefits from it. Not a single person will benefit from him blowing up in week 2.
A great Sammy sandbag call by Simon.
Sammy sandbags.
Well, I feel like for Sammy Watkins, it has to be a situation where there's literally nobody that put him in their starting lineup for him to succeed. In week 1,
we're going to get P shy, but for,
start
football.
Start shy. If his start percentage is over 6%, he's not performing.
Yeah.
And so week 1, there may be some people just trying to get that week 1 Sammy. Fantasy Dog said that's fantasy football. Yeah, this is the hard-hitting analysis you come here for. Purely narrative driven and based only on percentage of people starting him. Guys, let's get into this match game. If you've ever watched a match game before, you know the general idea of how this works. But we had some questions. Our friend FYF Maria in the chat went and asked questions to some of our friends in the fantasy football community. Fill in the blank questions. How this is going to work is those questions were sourced by an impartial third party. All of us are going to be trying to match. Maria's the impartial third party. She sourced the questions. She reached them out there. I will read the prompt out loud, and then all of us, all 3 of us, because I don't know what the other person said either, is going to write down what we think that person said. So I'll tell you the person, I'll tell you the prompt, you write down what you think they said. After that, I'm going to reveal what the answer to that question was, what the person asked said, and we will get an opportunity to explain our answers and why we think they would have said that. If you get it right, if you match their answer, you're going to get a point, and we'll go through how many of these do we got? We got 5 of these. Whoever has the most points at the end will be our champion. And if I'm losing by the end, I'm just going to start cheating to make sure I get that victory. Cool with you guys?
Yeah, cool with us.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Let's get into that first one, guys. This first one was asked to our friend Roto Heat Rick. Rick Butts answered this one. And here is your question. One team that will definitely make it to the Super Bowl this year is blank. So fill out that blank, write your answer down. If you guys want to play along in the chat as well, throw your answers in the chat. What you think Rick Butts would answer to this question. Roto Heat Rick on Twitter.
Can we get the question one more time?
Yes, I'll give you the question one more time. One team that will definitely make it to the Super Bowl this year is blank. And I'm going to go ahead and make the executive call now. If you say like Minnesota and he wrote the Vikings, you're going to get credit for it. Like, as long as you put the correct team. It's okay if you wrote the wrong city. Let's see. This is tricky. You guys got your answers written down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's reveal the answer. Rick Butts said one team that would definitely...
Not yet.
No, we're going to reveal Rick Butts' answer.
Doesn't really work well in my camera.
One team that will definitely make it to the Super Bowl this year is... Let's reveal the secret. It is the Chargers. Rick Butts said the Chargers. I'm going to reveal mine first. I went full on Homer. I know he's a big Bears fan, and I thought maybe he would have had some fun with this, knowing that the Bears are not good this year. And I wrote Chicago. I thought he was going to go full Homer on this one and just say
There's
Chicago.
No way he's that delusional.
It wasn't a delusion thing. It was a like having fun with the question thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's taking it too far though, dude. Like the over/under win total for the Bears is like 5, and there's 17. There's 17 games.
JL, what did you put for this one?
All right, I went with the Bengals.
The Bengals. Oops.
The Bengals.
I see Fantasy Dog agreed with you in the chat though. Said Cincinnati.
I thought he'd be pretty excited about
to
the
work
Bengals.
with the camera here, but I wrote the Bills.
You wrote the Bills.
Since you guys can't see it, I'm just gonna. I actually wrote the Chargers.
You write anything? Yeah, I wrote the Chargers. Not a single point.
I wrote the Bills.
Not a point. Fantasy Dog said yes, that you agreed with him.
I should get a half point because like 10 people in the chat said the Bills.
Yeah, they're loving the Bills. Also,
I almost said the Bills.
Getting the game is technically correct. The NFC Championship team will make it to the finals. It's correct, but the game is not.
I get one Australian point, a quarter point.
Okay,
Australian quarter point.
How disrespectful that an Australian point is only worth a quarter of a point.
Well, no, I'm just not. I'm saying that their time is on the reality of things. Yeah. Okay, Brad, can you back me up in the chat? I need some support from Australia.
Yeah.
All right, so one Australian quarter point for me, and then you guys will have 0.
Well, guys, that was like the warm up. That was like the warm up round. Know what I mean? None of us got that one. We can move on.
How would you guys answer that? Like, who is the team that you think definitely will make it to Super Bowl?
I think the Bills. The thing about the Bills is that like you have to think about realistic expectations for each team and like what their goal is for the season, right? I think about my Patriots, right? I would be happy with us making the playoffs. But when you're the Buffalo Bills in the window that they're in right now, you're basically, if you don't win the Super Bowl this year, it's a disappointing season. Is that not the case for a team like that?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it would either have to be the Bills or the Buccaneers as a team that I would say here. And I think I might go Buccaneers. And this is a little bit narrative driven, but I feel like Tom Brady, like we talk about like a team window. Well, he's got a player window. Like it is very small, and he wouldn't keep coming back if he wasn't expecting to win at least one more Super Bowl. And I'll buy into that. They got the roster to compete on that level. And I'll take Tom Brady and the Bucs as a team that's going to make the Super Bowl this year. I think that's how I would answer it.
I like that.
For Tom Brady, like he's in the same boat. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, it's a loss for him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's some teams though, obviously, where the goals are different for every team.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. JL, how would you answer it?
I would go Tampa Bay too. That was the team I was, because I wanted to go with the NFC team.
You copycat loser.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Or we can. Okay, you're right. Let's move on to the next one. JL, try not to copycat me on this one. But if you do, you know what? It's just us being on the same team.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Andy Behrens. This is a player that will definitely get injured this year is blank. Andy Behrens was the person who answered it. A player that will definitely get injured this year is blank.
Easy one for me. I've already written mine down. I'm just going to
already have yours written?
I'm going to type mine to producer Keith because you guys can't see it. So
I'm trying to come up with an answer for this one, and I am struggling.
I'm going to wait to type mine then so you don't steal it because you're going
to.
Okay, wait, no. I got it.
Does it count if they're already injured?
Damn it, JL.
That is cheating.
It's whatever you think Andy Behrens is going to answer. If you think Andy Behrens is going to get a little cheeky and put someone who's already injured, then you could put something a little cheeky and put someone who's already injured.
I want to say that Andy Behrens he's such a sharp guy. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't think he's going to pick something that's like insanely obvious.
I wrote down 3 different names, and I just want you guys to see right here. I am ripping up 2 of them. That way it's not like I get to pick from the 3 once the answer is revealed.
What is this, a magic trick?
Yeah, what the hell?
And now watch,
nothing
I just
up my
ripped up this
sleeve.
piece of paper.
And it's a dove.
I ate it.
Eating.
And it came back out Chicago.
Chicago's going to get injured this year.
It's incredible.
Entire Chicago.
I mean, too, based on the wide receivers they have over there, the entirety of Chicago could be hurt pretty bad this year. Like the whole city.
You guys got your answers ready?
Nope. Okay, nope. I'll write one down.
Write it down, JL. You had plenty of time.
All right, I got it.
Okay, Andy Behrens. The answer that Andy Behrens said to the question, a player that will definitely get injured this year is blank. He said Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is the player that will definitely get injured, according to Andy Behrens.
Coop didn't get it.
Coop, what did you say?
I said Raheem Mostert.
See, I think that's a pretty good answer.
He's been the most hurt.
Yeah,
I said
McKinnon would have worked.
I settled on George Kittle as my answer. Okay. George Kittle as my answer. Just he plays violent, he plays aggressive. So I
went with my guy, Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
That's actually we just talked about that. But I think the best answer is Squirrel Bob. Squirrel Bob in the chat said CMC, but Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has never played a full season, not one time since coming into this league. He's not one time.
He is a running back.
There are 4 running backs that have played more than 3 seasons or 3 or more seasons and have never played a full season. It's Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Leonard Fournette, and the third one I forget.
That was 3.
Sorry, there's 4 actually.
Gotcha. I see Fantasy Dog in the chat said nuts. I got Tony on a bunch of teams. People should use nuts as an expletive more often. I feel like it, like the way you can say it is just so much fun.
Maria says it all the time.
I like how
nuts.
Nuts.
I like how it's Fantasy Dog using nuts and not Squirrel Bob. You would think Squirrel Bob would be.
You think it would be a Squirrel Bob type? Yeah.
Josh Jacobs come in the chat.
Josh Jacobs is the other one that's never played a full season.
There we go.
So how do you define full season though? Because for running backs, don't they typically a lot of times they'll end up missing a game or 2 throughout the season, even if it's not necessarily injury.
So I think that would be how you define non-full seasons if they do miss a game or 2.
You have to play every game. I did look to see if they missed just the last game, which like Joe Mixon last year, for instance, but Joe Mixon also had a rolled ankle. So I think with that one, the jury's out on whether he played a full season or not. But full season, in my opinion, you played every game.
All or nothing. Gotcha.
You guys ready for that next prompt?
Yep. 0 for 2 for so far.
This one was answered by DeBoys_22 on Twitter. Our friend Kevin. Yeah, Kevin answered this one. And here is your prompt. A player that will get fined this year is blank. A player that will get fined this year is blank. So who do you think is getting fined this year?
Who's a naughty boy?
Who is a naughty boy? Oh, I got my answer. I think he's the naughtiest of boys. This is a fun question. Shout out Maria for getting this question right. I saw earlier Maria said in the chat, I thought you said shut up, Maria, not shout out, Maria. I would never say shut up, Maria.
I think I said shout out, Maria.
Shut up, Maria.
JL would say shut up, Maria. I've heard him say it. Just kidding. He would never. I'm not going to put that on your name, JL.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We got Dave in the chat saying JL's getting fined.
It's facts.
You guys got your answers?
No.
Yeah.
JL.
Busy fraternizing with the chat.
What is Kevin going to say to this one? What is Kevin going to say to this one?
I'm going to say, who's the most likely?
Getting ahead of Kevin, JL.
Toronto Dave says JL get. Yeah, we should find JL every time he leaves his mute button on.
It's fine. I'll take it out of Keith's paycheck.
Because you have direct access to that, right?
Yeah.
You can just
Hey, it's Labor Day. Okay, we can't be smirched.
Okay, we will not garnish Keith's wages on Labor Day.
We'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'm ready.
Earlier when I said that, he goes, "Can you at least loosen the cuffs?" And in the chat, I just responded, "No." and didn't even bring it up.
Joe, you got your answer?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, a player that will get fined this year is blank, answered by Kevin. The correct answer is Trayvon Diggs. He said Trayvon Diggs is his answer for a player that will get fined this year. Did anyone put Trayvon Diggs? Coop, what did you put?
I put Ndamukong Suh.
I see that answer from Fantasy Dog in the chat as well. He said hands down on Suh.
He's just like such a jerk, I feel, like he's just that guy.
And
perfect, that guy.
Vontae's perfect, man.
Yeah, Vontae's
that
perfect.
dude's a jerk. The time he pushed the camera into the cameraman's face for like no reason, and the guy had to get stitches, I was like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah.
The chat's kind of got like a double match game going on, right? Like they could match the correct answer, or they could match one of our answers as well. Like if they match one of us, then they got like the double game going on. I thought it would be someone maybe topical. I went with Baker Mayfield on his revenge tour. He can get spicy out there on the field. Know what I mean? The flag plant, the classic arm dangling down
right in the middle of the Cleveland Stadium.
I could see him just doing something to get a fine. Maybe it's something that isn't too bad, but something that according to the league rules is not allowed, and he gets a fine right there. And Maria says he's mad he lost his house. Yeah, he lost his house. That's a guy on a mission with a real chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, the next At Home with Baker Mayfield commercial is just him taking a massive poop in the middle of like the 50-yard line right as he's leaving.
Dale, what player did you say?
I went with George Pickens.
George Pickens. What made you say that?
Isn't he a kind of a jerk?
No, I think you're thinking of Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool is the one who's kind of
maybe Pickens is just a nice guy. I'm just mean.
Actually, Pickens in college did kind of have some stuff going on.
Didn't he have some issues? Yeah,
that's why he fell in the drafts, right? I believe it was those issues is why he fell in the draft. And Dave saying it's not that he has issues. He's just got that dog in him. He's got that dog in him. George Pickens does. And you know what? Sometimes the NFL doesn't like the dudes that got that dog in them. They start finding you. Guys, we're through 3 questions and nobody has a point yet. We got to get somebody has to get 1 point before.
Don't I have a quarter Australia point?
Yes.
Australian quarter.
It's true.
So, but on the Australian scoreboard, you are winning by 0.25. But on the non-Australian scoreboard, it is 0-0-0.
Yeah. Craig in the chat, he is backing me up on the pick and stake.
Yeah. You guys ready for our next prompt?
Yep.
This was answered by the pretend GM, Alfredo Brown. Alfredo Brown.
No.
A team that will not make the playoffs this year is blank. So a team that will not make the playoffs this year is blank.
Are we just picking like, is this supposed to be a good team that is that surprise team that doesn't make it? Or are we picking like just the team that we think is the worst?
That
It's
is
however
the
you
only,
think Alfredo's going to answer.
He got that prompt. We have to answer that prompt too.
Oh, wow.
It's part of the game, Coop. Part of the game.
Part of the game. We're here to play the game.
It's in the game.
It's in the game. Auto game.
Dude, please, no more trademarks. You're gonna get us canceled. We got the meats. Oh, you got that. You got that horrifying oven mitt over there.
We do got the meats right there.
Oh, showdown. It's a showdown.
We got the meats. That's what he sounds like.
Sir Plant.
Sir Plant's in the mix, dude.
Who's
that
inside
fight?
of Sir Plant, JL?
That's Poof.
Who's that? That's Poof?
That's Poof, yeah.
Is he edible?
Absolutely not.
Oh, he looks a little bit edible.
No, he's not.
I see Dave's answer in the chat already. Dave said Patriots. Suck it, Coop.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Dave. Mods.
Hit you with a suck it.
No, do not censor Dave. We only censor Evan Ingram slander. That's it. That's our rule.
Hashtag ban Dave is a thing.
Guards.
Vote if Dave should be banned.
Get him out of my sight.
Guys, let's go ahead and reveal our answers. You guys have your words written down? You got them?
My words are written down. I'm ready.
Your
Keith
words
is a
written
Jets
down.
fan, so he says he's allowing all Patriot slander.
Oh, well, Keith may not be happy with me.
Of course.
The answer
Keith's
that
a Jets
Alfredo Brown said for this answer, a team that will not make the playoffs this year, is the New York Jets. He said the New York Jets, and read it in wheat, boys. Jets.
Suck it, Keith.
You want to know my logic? Alfredo is a Dolphins fan. You know what I mean? So I thought fresh in his mind would be an interdivision team that is bad. Like someone where he could throw some shade at a divisional rival and pick a bad team. So that's why I went with the Jets. And I'm going to get a point. Joe, what did you say?
Damn it. You know Alfredo a little better than I do. I said Seahawks. I was just maybe in my head, I was just thinking of Coop and his feud with Blitz on Twitter.
That dirty bird, dude.
That dirty bird.
Coop, what did you say for this one?
So I know that Alfredo is a Dolphins fan as well. So I said the Patriots. I figured he was going to get snarky on us. Yeah, I figured he was going to get snarky on us and say that the Patriots suck, which is kind of funny. But
Coop, your thought process so great, just didn't lead to a point. Didn't lead to a point. No. But you got that Australian scoreboard that you're leading on right there. Also, our producer says he's going to mute me for slandering the Jets on air. And then he also says he has a $100 bet on who is going to have more wins, the Jets or the Steelers. Coop, what side of that
really
would
hope
you
pick
be
the Steelers.
on?
I would actually, it's honestly kind of close. But the difference maker for me is Mike Tomlin. Like Mike Tomlin is such a good coach, and he's never had a losing season. Like, so if they were to go under 500 this year, it would be the first time a Mike Tomlin team has ever done. So I just believe in the ability of Mike Tomlin to will that team to a bunch of scrappy wins. Especially because they're going to get the Browns with Watson, and they got some matchups there they can win. So I think I would pick the Steelers there.
Yeah, I tend to be with you. I went through the other week and did my full 2022 NFL season predictions, like the team records and all that stuff. And the first run through, I went through and the Steelers it didn't feel right having them with only 5 wins. Like I was like that. It was exactly what you said, Coop. I was like, there's just no way Mike Tomlin is going to lead this team to less than a winning record. So I bumped them up. They're up at 9-8 for me now, just barely on that winning record side, but I'll take the Steelers on that side. Yeah. Jill, are you taking the Steelers or the Jets?
Give me the Steelers.
Triple Steelers, Keith. Yeah. But I hope you enjoy your Jets losing season. It is Labor Day, so we'll at least throw some kindness your way. It's okay. You can enjoy a losing season. It feels better when they win, when they haven't won in 10 games.
Oh, I'm still waiting for Blitz to respond to that bet, dude.
He hasn't responded still?
Ah, man, I know it's still kind of early over there, but he had all night to look at that one. For those
if you're unaware, Coop is in the middle of a feud on Twitter with Blitz, the Seattle Seahawks mascot.
As one gets themselves into
a common situation.
Yeah. So just to give you a quick recap of how this went down, I tweeted out very respectfully that I tweeted out very respectfully that the Seahawks were going to get obliterated by the Broncos. and that the spread should be higher than 6.5. Blitz, this dirty bird mascot, responds to me and says, I remember the last time someone said the Broncos were going to obliterate the Seahawks. Hashtag Super Bowl 48, hashtag Go Hawks, which is actually a really good rebuttal. So then I said, why would I care? I'm a Patriots fan, with that gif of Richard Sherman after the interception by Malcolm Butler.
Why would I care?
He goes, cared enough to post it with a bunch of laughing emojis. So I said, oh, yeah. I know, dude. Blitz is getting, I was like,
A little spicy.
yeah, right? Like, don't you got somewhere to like dance around in some hot costume? You know what I mean? Like,
don't you have a cartwheel to do somewhere, Blitz?
Don't you have a podamorn?
Yeah, right. So he goes, oh yeah, because it's so he says, cared enough to post it. I said, oh yeah, because it's easy money. How about you and me bet on it? Broncos versus Seahawks. Loser posts a video taking a pie in the face.
Oh
Deal?
my God.
No response. So if you're watching this, go slap a like on that.
And a chicken gif.
A like on that and see if we can get him to respond to that. Because does he actually think the Seahawks are going to win? Starting to look like he does not.
I'm just imagining now all of a sudden it's not just you, but Blitz went from like just hanging out on Twitter to like there's like 40 people just like beefing with him, like, oh, you're not man enough. You don't think the Seahawks are going to win? Like he talked himself into a corner on this one right there.
Oh yeah, dude. We got the back against the wall. At least 5 people have sent him gifts now. So
and Craig said Blitz is lucky the Coop doesn't bring Grimace to the fight for mascot v mascot. Yeah,
Ooh,
you might have to
hot.
up the ante a little bit. See, we're gonna sit Grimace on you if you don't take this bet.
Dude, he's got nothing. Blitz has absolutely nothing on Grimace. Grimace is literally magical. We're talking about a dude in a bird costume.
And neither one of them has anything on the oven mitt, do they?
Or Chuck E. Cheese.
That's
Or
not
Chuck
what
E.
the
Cheese.
that's not what the votes say. That's not what the last bracket says. But anyway, we're getting off topic here.
We are, but that's okay. And getting the game says Grimace will supplant him. Yeah, all of a sudden we just see Grimace on the sideline at Seahawks games.
The new Seahawks mascot, Grimace.
But what I'm imagining is Grimace, like, this is so creepy, but like it's like kind of wearing like the outside of the mascot, but it's like doesn't quite fit, and you can just like see like ripped the fabric off and like stapled it on top of the Grimace body.
Horrifying.
Let that fuel your nightmares. We've got one more.
That's like mascot. That's like mascot Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's exactly what I was.
Great
picturing.
skit idea.
Craig in the chat saying, I guess I have to send JL a creepy Chuck E. Cheese toy now. Yeah,
Great.
We've got the oven
Can't wait
mitt,
for
the
that.
Grimace, and JL's gonna have to get Chuck E. Cheese.
Absolutely cannot wait for that.
You'll never sleep again with a creepy Chuck E. Cheese toy in the
Great.
house. Because we have one more round of this game. It's time for you. You guys can come back, tie this game up, or I can put it away. Our last question. This was asked to our friend Jeff Bell on Twitter at For Whom J Bell Tolls. So Jeff Bell answered this one. The blank, so in team in parentheses, will likely have the first overall draft pick next year. So the blank will likely have the first overall draft pick next year. So the team that you think will have the first overall draft pick next year.
Who answered this one?
Jeff Bell answered this one.
Jeff
For Whom
Bell.
J Bell Tolls.
A little cutie.
Jeff Bell's a sweetheart, isn't he?
He is a sweetheart. He's so sweet.
He does stirs the pot on his timeline though. He like just throws
100%.
like grenades out into Twitter. He doesn't even respond to anyone that responds to him.
Nope.
He's just like throws a grenade over his shoulder. He's like, I think I'll go mow the lawn. Comes back
I love
with like
that. Yeah, I think I'll go mow the lawn.
Comes back with like 170 responses.
Mutes the conversation.
Reads the conversation, goes about his day. That's the Jeff Bell move.
I love me some Jeff. Jeff's the man.
Yeah. Oh, I get involved in those fights. On his
Single one, like, answer me, coward.
Every single post that Jeff puts out there, Coop says, you and me, a bet. Loser takes a pie to the face.
Loser leaves town.
Pie bet, bro.
Pie bet.
You guys got your answers?
Oh, I got mine.
We got some in the chat. Squirrel Bob said Seahawks. Get in the game said Cowboys. And
Cowboys.
Jeff Bell, the one that really matters, Jeff Bell said the Texans. So Jeff Bell said the Texans. Coop, it looks like you said the Texans.
Texans, baby. That team is bad.
That team is bad. You said the Texans. JL, what did you say?
I thought he would try and throw some shade, and I went Jaguars.
Jaguars from JL, and
I thought that there's gonna be some Clemson shade.
I went with the Bears. I just, for some reason, Jeff seemed like a Bears hater. And that was a bad offense. He does love Justin Fields. You're
His
right.
boy-
What was I even thinking there?
His boy, yeah, but I could see him throwing shade on the Bears because he's boys with Kluge, and it's fun to make fun of your friends.
That's
team.
true. It is fun.
That is what my logic was for sure. But Coop, you're gonna get 1 point for that.
lost
JL.
again.
You've got 0 points. You have lost yet again, JL. Coop and I tied.
How
Coop
long
is
can we
the
keep this
winner
going?
in Australia? So Coop,
Woo.
congratulations on your Australian victory, and then we tied. Congratulations to everyone but JL on the other victory.
That game's
job,
fun. I like
everyone.
that game.
It's a good
That
one.
game was a
Shout
lot
out
of fun.
Maria. for
We
coming
got to
up with
figure
that
out
thing.
we got to figure out like a secondary system for points with like the chat or something, so that we can kind of make it so
Razzle
it's
dazzle.
not so easy to be. It was very close to being a 0-0 tie.
It was.
It was very close. Guys, we got a lot coming up next. We're going to be talking some last round players that can help you win your fantasy leagues. And we're going to be playing some more hypothetically a little bit later as well. You guys all want to know who you can stream at defense or who you should be drafting. So we'll be talking some early season defenses that'll be good for fantasy this year. And our friend Nando DeFino is coming on later as well. So make sure you stick around. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yo, speaking of cards, I got two things I want to bring up, and I got them ready for the show today.
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if you ever played this Topps Home Run Challenge game.
No,
Like
I
a genius. So I'm in love with Adolis Garcia. So basically what you do is you scratch off the back, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a code, and you go and you punch it in, and then you have to pick the game that he's going to hit a home run in, right?
Oh, okay, I never heard of that before.
And then if you do that, you get like a special limited edition card, and it's limited to how many people actually picked he would hit a home run
Okay.
that month.
Cool.
And then you could double down. If he goes over 425 feet, you get like an extra special card.
Yeah.
So I went on eBay, like, because I like Adolis Garcia, like, because all the rest of like big names. I got 6 of them, and I totally forgot to punch them in. So I got the plan. I think they're coming up Colorado coming soon or something.
There he goes right there.
I have a month left to punch in 6 Adolis Garcia home run cards.
There you go.
We can
Congratulations.
do that live on the show if you'd like.
Sure.
Here's the second one.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna like this. I was at Target, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And it
Oh,
was
that's
just
pretty
like-
cool.
It was Garbage Pail Kids Bookworms, it's called, and it like
Okay.
makes fun of like book stuff. This is one of the greatest cards I've ever got in my life, and I'm trying to probably buy more. You see
Nice,
that
I
right
like
there?
that. That's pretty dope right there.
It's
That's
Winnie
pretty dope.
It's Winnie the Pooper,
Yeah.
and he's
I like
he's
that.
pooping on. Look at that!
I like that. That's dope right there. That's clever, Nando. You know,
This is the best card I've ever seen in my life. It's worth
When I was going
$1.50.
to elementary school, right, in the Washington Heights area in New York City, you used to walk down Broadway, and on Broadway and 150th Street, it was a dude. You would go in there, and he used to hand out, sell like, you know what I'm saying. He used to sell the Garbage Pail Kids in the morning before we go to school. So
Nice.
everybody was in that store buying Garbage Pail Kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, just get that. Yeah. So
Oh,
so
sorry,
I'm
Cardi,
up to deal with the Garbage Pail Kids. I think that's pretty cool.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah. I mean, you see the little poop emojis right there too.
It's
That's a cool card, Nando. Yeah,
right? You can get it for
Uh-huh.
like $2.
I like that.
I don't know why. This is my favorite thing in the world right now. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I want to hang it up on my wall or something. Like, it's just so. Who comes
Yeah.
up with Winnie the Pooh pooping on? Winnie the Pooper.
I like that.
I gotta find something. They even have the balloons the same color as like the actual Winnie the Pooh
Yeah,
cartoons.
I like
Yeah.
it, Nando. That's sweet.
Anyway,
That's
sorry.
clever.
I just wanted to share that with you. I'll never
Thank
grow
you.
up. That's that'll be old man Corey. Wait a minute. Hey, turn your bass down. I'm going through my Winnie the Pooper
turn
collection.
that NBA young boy down. I'm trying to do a show over here. What's going on? No respect. All that boogity, 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 all loud.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk. Sports talk done better.
We are back here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Guys, I see a question in the chat before we jump into our next segment from Getting the Game. Wants to know 2 sleeper DFS running backs for week 1. Are there any names that come to mind as like week 1 guys that you think could be good, like sleepers, maybe less rostered, a little bit cheaper for DFS? I know this is putting you on the spot, but any names that immediately come to mind? If you need a second to think on it, we can hop back to this one.
I got names. For
You
sure.
got names.
I got names.
For under $6,000, I know that Antonio Gibson is 5,800. And we're talking DraftKings here. under 5,800. The dollar values came out before the Brian Robinson news. So, that number probably would have been higher. I also like JD McKissick. There's a lot of pass catching backs that I'm willing to start week 1. We talked about Amir Abdullah. We talked about Nyheim Hines. Like, why not there? I also would be willing to take a stab on Ty Montgomery if he's healthy, or if you really want to start somebody that no one's going to start. If Ty Montgomery is out, Patriots rookie Pierre Strong could be in that James White pass catching role week 1. And that's a name that, he might not be in that role, but if he is, you're going to be one of the only people starting that player.
Yeah. Man, this is a tough one, but if you wanted to get like even a little bit cheaper, maybe you could even go someone like, I'm looking at maybe like ambiguous backfields, ones where we're not 100% certain what's going to happen. You could start a guy like Myles Gaskin in an ambiguous backfield, and he's going to be a little bit cheaper. There's a chance that he just has the most carries in that offense. He was good last year every other week. I'm not saying that that's the most likely outcome, but you could probably get him less than 5K. What is he on DraftKings right now? 4,500 on DraftKings. He could be a cheap play that has a shot at some real volume in week 1.
You can honestly make one lineup and then with Gaskin, and then make virtually the exact same lineup with Raheem Mostert, and just kind of cover your bases on both sides, right? Like, yeah, it's not a crazy move.
Dale, any names that pop out to you? Anyone you want to add, or we did a perfect job?
And Chase Edmonds is only 5,200. So 5,200 for Edmonds, 4,800 for Mostert, 4,500 you said for Gaskin. So I mean, those guys are all close enough that you could take one lineup and just kind of mix it in and just completely cover your bases on all of it.
Yeah, 100%. I like that, Coop. I like that strategy.
I was trying to pull up the FanDuel prices for these guys, just so I could see. Damian Harris is an interesting name going against that Miami defense. Their run defense is not fantastic, and I could see New England just hammering the run game.
5,700 for Damian Harris. That's cheap, man.
Yeah, he's 6,300 on FanDuel. It's just around there. Could be an interesting name.
Yeah,
or Ramondre Stevenson.
Is Ramondre Stevenson also less than 6,000?
Yes. Well, on FanDuel, he's
on both he is
5,600.
On DraftKings, he's 5,500. So, I mean, again, that's in these week 1s, that's where you take the stab. You go for these, as Simon said, ambiguous backfields where we have no idea, and just kind of take some stabs there, because you never know.
What about Dameon Pierce?
That's going to be
the
thing with that play though is that like everybody's going to be doing that, right? Like
5,400 on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, it's going to be such a popular play. It's almost like
that's true. Yeah,
but the thing is, they set the scores so far in advance that the week 1 sometimes there end up being guys you have to play. Right, because if like Dameon Pierce is going to be this big value, then every sharp player, sometimes you got to mix a little chalk in there.
Yeah,
it's definitely a little bit tough on that one, but I like these names that we threw out there. I loved your strategy with the 3-headed monster, grabbing one lineup and just swapping out the running backs there in Miami. They're all cheap enough that you can do it with all 3 of them. Fantasy Dog in the chat saying Jeff Wilson or Rex Burkhead. Ooh. I like the Burkhead one a lot. I like
5,100 on FanDuel.
To Coop's point, if everyone's going to be playing Dameon Pierce, it might be a good idea to throw a Rex Burkhead lineup in there in case he is the guy in that backfield going into week 1.
Big Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, I wish their prices were a little bit farther apart. Maybe that's to your point, Coop, that they set those lines so early.
Right.
Absolutely.
I would start. I wouldn't start Burkhead on FanDuel. I would start him on DraftKings. So FanDuel is half PPR. And I don't know if Burkhead's super exciting on that, but on DraftKings, that's what you play.
Checks out. Makes sense. Guys, I wanted to talk some last round kind of guys that you can take shots on that could help you win your fantasy leagues. So these are guys that potentially big picks that you can make in the last round of your draft that could pay off. So Coop, I know a lot with your tight end strategy. You draft a guy you can start week 1, and then you like to take a shot on someone with some serious upside in the last round. So maybe this is me making assumptions, but I assume you got some tight ends for us here. If you got other positions, let us know. But who are some last round guys that you've been drafting a lot?
I've got other positions as well. I'll say one player, and then I'll get into some tight ends. One guy that I'm drafting with the last pick in as many leagues as I can, where I have an IR spot, is I take Jamison Williams. And then the moment the draft ends, I move him into the IR spot, and now I have an extra roster spot to go pick somebody else up. In fact, in one of my leagues, he was just sitting there on waivers, and I just picked him up, I picked him up, dropped my kicker, put him in the IR spot, and then I picked my kicker back up. Like, those are the kind of moves that you can do for free. You can do that with Gus Edwards. You can do that with Tyquan Thornton, like guys that we know are going to come back at some point. Tyquan Thornton's coming back from a broken collarbone. So on one hand, we know he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. But on the other hand, when he is back, it's not necessarily an injury that you're going to re-aggravate. And you know what I mean? Like, once your bone heals, then you're back. You're ready. So Tyquan Thornton, to me, like, he can still ride the bike. He can still, I know it's going to be a pain, but he's going to be able to do some things to stay in shape and get ready. So he's interesting there. And then for tight ends, I mean, I'm drafting Evan Ingram in every league. If I don't get Evan Ingram because people are super smart and they reach for him before I can get him, then I'm going to take a stab on anybody that I think can be a top 2 target on their team, that I think has that opportunity. So guys like David Njoku, Brevin Jordan, right? Who knows if it's going to be him or Nico Collins after Brandon Cooks. I'll take a stab on. I mean, if it's a real deep league, you can go with Daniel Bellinger, who's going to start for the Giants, and they got a bunch of Kenny Galladay's being super weird. Kadarius Toney is obviously weird and also hurt. Like, Sterling Shepard's coming back from a torn Achilles. Wan'Dale Robinson's a complete wild card. Like, who knows who's going to be the guy there? But he earned that starting job, and they cut Ricky Seals-Jones, so they don't even have another decent pass catching tight end. So Daniel Bellinger is kind of a guy that's sneaky moving up my board.
Shout out Maria's dad. Put Bellinger on my map like months and months ago, before the draft even. Maybe it was right after the draft.
Maria's dad in the house, boy.
Yeah. For real.
Well, he's been, I mean, like, that's a guy that's moving up. And then the last one that I want to see what happens with Mo Alley Cox and Kylan Granson. See if Granson gets that Trey Burton role, or if Mo is just a full-time guy, because after Michael Pittman, it is wide open, right? Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce, like, I don't know. You know, it could be Mo season.
Yeah.
Mo-town.
Also, I see Craig in the chat saying, Coop, your Ingram love has invaded Simon. He got mad that I took Ingram from him in a mock draft last night. Yeah, I went to go draft. It was we were doing a draft with some rules, and mine was pick a player on a new team, I believe is what it was. And I went looking for Evan Ingram, went to go find him in the draft. It seemed like he should have been up there based on the other tight ends that were sitting on the board. Like Hunter Henry was there, Mike Gesicki was there. You would assume Evan Ingram would still be there, but he was gone. He'd been taken. And it was Craig, because Craig decided without telling. No, he did tell us, but he was drafting a cat-only team. Only players
it was
from teams
glorious.
That are on cat. It was beautiful. The wide receiver core, just sexy. And then the tight ends, he had Evan Ingram. It got a little grosser after that. I think Tommy Tremble was his second tight end, if I'm not mistaken, but not great. JL, do you have any names that you've been drafting a lot of in the last round?
I don't know that I've been drafting a lot of this guy, but in terms of like last round guys who might be able to have a big impact on your team, I wrote down Noah Fant. Noah Fant as a tight end in Seattle. I am not bullish on the Seattle offense, but Noah Fant's a guy who he's talented, and if this is a really bad team, maybe they just funnel through their most talented guys. I think they're most likely going to focus on the run game, but they still have to pass some. So maybe Noah Fant becomes, more valuable than where you're drafting now. I don't expect him to be a league winner, but that's who I can come up with on last minute.
There were a couple names I wanted to throw out there. One I saw, I think Fantasy Dog put it in the chat. I'm having trouble scrolling to it now, but Isaiah McKenzie, he's risen up a little bit now. He's more like in that 13 round range, but in some drafts, like I still got him in the 15th round of a draft yesterday. That slot wide receiver job in Buffalo is a very valuable position for fantasy. We saw it last year with Cole Beasley. So I'll take a shot on that guy that's going late in those drafts. And then if your draft is even longer, say it's a 20 round draft, we think it's going to be McKenzie. Reports say it's going to be McKenzie, but it could still be Jamison Crowder. So I don't mind taking that shot on him. The other name that I wanted to bring up, Coop, and this was related to a team situation that you mentioned, a name you even said out loud, but he wasn't the guy you wanted to draft, is Alec Pierce. It is wide open after Michael Pittman. So it's not just the tight ends that we're looking at. Alec Pierce could have a bigger role than maybe we're expecting for a rookie this early into his career. But I'll take a shot on Alec Pierce late. Reports have been good out of camp as well.
They're going to be targets there. I mean, they're going to be targets. And it's like, he's a second round pick. You know what I mean? Like, why we get so excited about a lot of these other guys that we were excited about before the draft. Yeah. But we need to move these guys up. Like, nobody was excited about Terry McLaurin. And I saw people drafting Hakeem Butler and Kelvin Harmon and all these weirdos over Terry McLaurin, even though, you know what I mean? Like, even though Terry McLaurin got drafted there, Riley Ridley was going ahead of Terry McLaurin. It's like, hey, once the NFL scouts come in and put their jobs on the line, you got to take your biases and put them in the backseat.
And people coming to be like, oh, but what about Tyreek Hill? Like, oh, what about this? Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes.
Dude,
okay?
Not even though. I go through that list all the time in this argument with people. And dude, Tyreek Hill is not a 5th round pick, dude. He pled guilty to felony assault on a pregnant woman. That's why he went in the 5th round. Antonio Brown is not a 6th round pick, dude. That dude declared he was going to Alcorn State, and Alcorn State was like, no, you're not. And then he went to Florida International and got kicked out before the season even started. Like, dude, that dude had to go to like a fake high school to get his grades up. Like that's why that guy went in the 6th round. Pierre Garçon, like that guy was a D3 college player. Julian Edelman didn't even play wide receiver in college. Like, these are all the best day 3 guys. And like, there's reasons they went day 3. It's not just because they, teams didn't watch as many YouTube clips as you did. So you had, you know what I mean? Like, you had all the coordinates and they missed it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, these guys have boots on the ground and they're at the games, talking to these people, talking to their teachers. That's the situation. So I'm tired of this whole narrative of like, it doesn't matter. It absolutely matters.
It does matter.
Sorry for the rant.
No, Coop, I like the rant, and I'm with you. I like to imagine that I can get a decent read whenever I'm watching tape, but I put a lot of value in these people that do it for a living. Like, it's their job. It's like whenever we were talking earlier about fantasy matchups that we're looking for, and you're like, I like to rely on Vegas a little bit for some of this. Rely on the experts. Like use that information to your benefit. It's not cheating. It's not like weak, or it's not like dumb if you can't do it yourself. Use these resources. They're out there, and there's people that are
data points. Yeah.
They're better than you at some of this stuff. So let them be better than you at it and take that information and run with it.
If you love that stuff, I've been trying to tell people, if you love that stuff, go play Devi, play Campus to Canton leagues, and listen to the Campus to Canton show on this channel. And if you love that kind of stuff, then go do that. If you're going to play regular Dynasty, you're going to have to factor draft capital into your rankings, right? So if you want to do your drafts before the NFL draft and play Devi, then absolutely do that. And that's where all that YouTube grinding and stuff does come into play. But if you're going to play regular Dynasty, you can't ignore the draft.
Yeah. Shout out our good friend, Ray GQ. If you want to get more into like the college prospects, Ray GQ is probably one of the best follows you can make.
It's great.
Yeah, that dude's for real. We had one from Keith in the chat as far as last round picks go. He said Corey Davis, at least for the beginning of the season, he's the number 1 right now, especially PPR. How do you guys feel about Corey Davis as a last round guy?
Dude, as crazy as it is, and as much as I would love to disagree with Keith, and I do love that, I actually am sneaky kind of on Corey Davis, because the reality of real life football, which we try to ignore when it comes to fantasy football, is that coaches love guys that can block. And Corey Davis was a top 10 run blocking wide receiver in this league. If blocking didn't matter at all, then the Cardinals would never play somebody like Max Williams. They would just play Rondale Moore every snap. But Rondale Moore can't block. That's why he comes out of the field for guys like AJ Green or Antoine Wesley. You know what I mean? So if Corey Davis, there's a reason Corey Davis is playing 94% of the snaps, and that's because he's the split end on that team. To get him off the field, they're going to have to run 2 tight end sets. So I think there is a reality where Corey Davis does play a huge snap share, and it's one of Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson that don't play every single snap. So be careful with that, both in drafting guys like Wilson and keep an eye out for Corey Davis, because he's not like he's not a bad football player from a real life football standpoint. Blocking is very valuable. He's just, because he plays that role, it's not as important. Like Sammy Watkins is another example of a guy who's amazing at blocking, and he's just kind of okay in fantasy football.
Yeah. And I see a fantasy dog in the chat saying only if Mike White is the quarterback. We did get some magic from Mike White and Corey Davis for a game last year, didn't we? But just
Magic
one game.
Mike White.
Magic Mike White. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Mike White. Now every time I see him,
Damn. That's an NFL player movie mashup we can't use.
No.
I've already used Magic Mike in another one, I think, before. They added Magic Mike Williams or Magic Mike Evans. There's a lot of Mikes that you can do that one with.
Good.
Guys, we got a lot of fun. Oh, go ahead, Coop.
I was going to say, but the funniest one is definitely Mike White.
The one is definitely
for sure. 100%.
Guys, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. After this, we're going to play some hypothetically. I'm excited. Coop came up with our scenarios for this week, and we're going to be talking some team defenses. And a reminder for everyone watching, we are giving away a signed NFL jersey on every single show this week. So make sure you guys are listening. Whenever we say go, it's going to be time to hit that button. So we'll let you guys know at some point during the show today, we are going to be giving one away. All you got to do is call in, and we'll reveal that jersey live on air with you. And we've also got our friend Nando DeFino coming up with us a little bit later. Nando, Winnie the Pooper. So make sure you guys hang out for that. Maybe he even brings the Pooper card for us.
Follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers agreed to a restructured one-year contract that will keep him in San Francisco this season. The contract contains no trade and no tag clauses, assuring Garoppolo will remain in San Francisco this season with the freedom to leave next year. Well, apparently Lynch did not want him to go to Seattle. He didn't want to.
Because they played in week 2, but I figured they'll cut him because they got to do something. But they restructured the contract.
So
that makes him affordable, but now he's in the shadows.
Like that is exact. We talk Tom Brady conspiracy theories. Let's get wild here. Are they sold on Trey Lance? This is the weirdest situation. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's in the building. He's working out by himself. He's in like solitary confinement in their facility. And now all of a sudden, hey, welcome back, Jimmy. You're our backup quarterback until Trey Lance throws 3 picks in a game.
No, it's so crazy, right? Because you cannot tell me that they do not realize they made a mistake. And I know everybody in the chat is like, oh, here we go again. But they made a mistake. When they had the 3rd pick in the draft last year, they should have took Mac Jones. Mac Jones was clearly the guy. He'd have been phenomenal in this Shanahan offense. They took Trey Lance, and now you're like, we can't play this guy. Put it like this, Joe. Last year, one of the 49ers' issues was short yardage. They couldn't even get Lance on the field for a short yardage package. I don't think they really are that comfortable with him. And I know it's guys in that locker room that prefer Jimmy G over Trey Lance.
I'm sure there is. And, I think Lance, though, might be one of those guys that you need to see him in game action.
Okay.
And then you're like, oh, okay. I see it now. And by the way, the right move for the 49ers is to give Trey Lance the gig and see what he does with it. But let's talk from a fantasy perspective. Now, I'm not sure this moves I have Lance in my top 10, by the way. I'm not sure this moves my rankings a whole lot because in a typical one quarterback league, and this is critical, one quarterback, I think you can take the hit on Lance, and if he stinks or gets bad, you can replace him. You can go get Ryan Tannehill off the waiver wire. You're going to go be able to get competent quarterback play. As a matter of fact, I did a salary cap auction draft last night, and I took both Lance and Fields because I'm like, I got 2 flips of the coin here, right? But there's a 75% chance that comes up heads at least once. That's the way I looked at it. But I got to tell you, man, this does make it less likely that Lance hits this year. I don't know, man, but here's the funny part. Garoppolo would probably make me feel better about Debo and Ayuk and Kittle just because I know he's going to distribute the ball.
If it gets out of whack, you can put Jimmy G in, and no matter what you say about him, son wins football games. You know what I mean?
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better. Make bets.
We are back, everyone, with the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. And we're about to get into our game of hypothetically for today. This is the game where one of our hosts poses a hypothetical situation to the other two, and we got to take it as far as we can. We got to say what we would do and really just milk it. Milk that prompt. Get as much out of it as you can. Coop, I believe you're going to be running this game for us today, right? You've got the prompts ready for JL and I?
Yep, I'll run the prompts today. I will after I give the prompt, I will, of course, open the floor to any questions you may have before you make your answers, of course. And I just want to remind anybody that's out there in the chat watching this now, if you could do us a big favor, if you like the show, I'm asking people to do this before we get into the most ridiculous part of the show. So if you could go ahead and do that before we just go into nonsense, pop in and leave us a review for the Better Network app. That is huge for us. It really helps with the formulas there, with getting more people to see the app, getting more people in here, the chat, hanging out with us. So if you guys could do that for us,
and my feelings, it helps my feelings. I check every day to see if anyone mentioned my name in a review, and it hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened, but maybe someday. Maybe
next year.
Maybe today. So, if you want to wait until after the segment before you leave that review, and Fantasy Dog says, how do you do that? In the App Store, whether you're Android or Apple. It's within that App Store
Google Play Store,
where you downloaded the app. Go in there, the Better Sports app, and just review it. Positive reviews, ideally, but be honest if you have to. So anyway, let's get to the first question here. Are you guys ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let me get that stretching in.
This is a very serious question on this football show. Would you rather have lunch boxes for hands or lobster claws for feet?
Lunch boxes for hands or lobster claws for feet, correct?
That's it.
Front lobster claws, like the ones that they chomp with?
Oh, yeah.
Can they support my weight? Or am I going to have broken lobster claws?
It supports your weight for sure. You could walk around.
Okay.
It would, yeah. I mean, that would be an easy no if you couldn't.
If I just crush my lobster feet as soon as I step foot on them.
I mean, I feel like that's a risk of some sorts, but yeah,
What kind of lunchbox we talking?
We're talking about your typical, like when a white wide receiver makes like a 17-yard catch,
box,
and they say he's the first dude there every morning, lunch pail type of guy. We're talking like metal lunch pail, lunch box, like the
metal. Okay, so hard one. Got the latches and the handle.
Can it be like a sick like vintage character metal lunchbox? You know what I'm talking about?
Is this a collectible lunch?
It's got like a Johnny Bravo lunchbox on my right hand and a.
Do we got a collectible Johnny Bravo lunchboxes?
And a Thundercats lunchbox on my left hand. Like I want Thundercats and Johnny Bravo.
I would let you. Yeah, you can choose the type of lunchbox.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Then my answer is easy. It's lunch boxes. Like that would be so dope. And here's the other reason. I have always been jealous of the fact that it's completely normal for women to carry around purses, but for men, they get judged a little bit when they throw a purse on. I mean, I've been starting to rock the man bag. You know what I mean? If you saw me at the expo, I had a man bag on most of the time that I was running around with, but having lunch boxes as hands solves that problem. I'm assuming I can probably rig together some sort of system to automatically open them. Like I can get something hooked up on there where I'm like, open hands, open left hand. And I can rig that system, get like a Raspberry Pi on each one, make it Bluetooth and voice activated. And then I've got storage at all times. It's all a matter of just getting the system set up to operate without my hands themselves, right? I just got to figure that out. And I think I can do that. I like my feet. And I just don't think lobster claws would work very well. I'm also very afraid of like my biggest fear is like skin being punctured. Like it's not needles, it's not knives, it's like the flex that skin gives before it breaks. It's disgusting. It freaks me out.
What?
And I feel like with lobster
you're freaking
claws,
us all out. In fact,
it's so gross. With lobster claws, I've got
the
that
way
like
the skin
threat.
Flexes before it breaks.
It's so gross.
Horrifying.
See, it's terrible. I've put that thought in your head now. But lobster claws, you've got a risk for that. You've got a sharp object on the end of each of your legs at all times. Like I feel like I scratch my legs with my feet too often to have lobster claws as feet. Like I would just slice my leg up. I'm not doing that. Give me lunch boxes.
You're lying in bed with your significant other and you just
go to play footsies and you cut their foot off.
Cut
off the big toe trying to be cute.
Oh no, dude.
Cut off. Why are you clamping?
Cut off. Yeah, mute.
Why are you clamping, bro? You don't need to be clamping in bed.
Please mute Simon right now with the cutoffs and the
skin breaking.
All right, JL, what do you got?
Initially, I like Simon, was naive enough to think that the lunchbox was the correct choice here. But here's the thing. Try doing anything with lunchbox hands. Try typing, try texting. That's all you need to do. Those are the two most important things in life. So try eating. How are you going to eat what's in your lunchbox when you got lunchbox for hands? You're going to smash your face down on the table?
Exactly. Yeah. You just do it like this.
That sounds
see, that's way too much trouble. I do like the fact that you have extra storage just built in. That's pretty sweet. I'll give you that. The lobster feet, though, I think we're not giving it enough credit because think of all the things you could do with lobster claw feet. Oh God, here's that mosquito again, trying to attack me. Think about it. You're on that plane. Your neighbor in the seat next to you is taking up too much room. You just cross your leg and you give them a little snip, snip. Stay out of here. They're gonna move their legs real quick.
Yeah, you're gonna move their legs kicked off the airplane. You're gonna be
that wasn't me. That was someone else. I didn't pinch you. I didn't leave any marks.
Dude, that dude would get kicked off the plane. If he's like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy has
Causing
lobster
trouble.
claw feet, and you just be like, lobster claw feet.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this guy is
2022,
clearly
bro.
this guy's on drugs.
Yeah. You're gonna try and discriminate against me with my lobster claw feet? Get out of here.
JL, Keith has something in here. Maybe this isn't a concern for you because you come from a fully vegetarian household. But what if your girlfriend really likes lobster? Like my girlfriend loves lobster, just salivating at your lobster feet at every like it gets close to dinner time. You guys haven't whipped up the Blue Apron yet. And she's thinking like, we could have that chicken shawarma rice and farro bowl, or I could boil up those tasty feet of yours.
I am so delicious anyway that I deal with this on a daily basis. Lobster claw feet are not really going to affect it too much.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. All right.
I'm a snack. Let's just say that.
Making a lot of sense here. Making a lot of sense. All right. Let's move on to the next one here.
I like that one.
So this one, let's bring it back to reality a little bit.
That wasn't reality?
No, it wasn't. Okay. So this is something that we've kind of had to deal with. Part of it we've had to deal with for the last week or so. Would you rather have producer Keith's voice in your ear for the entire day? So not just for the show, but for the entire day, or you see his face every time you close your eyes?
Oh, God. All right. So he either is in my ear. Is he talking the whole time?
It's just like throughout your day,
consciousness from Keith.
Picture somebody, yeah, like if you were throughout the day, like if you were doing a ride along, you'd have things to say for a lot of things to say probably.
See how I imagine it is like in my ear, I hear like we're going to a bathroom break in 3 minutes, like just like in my you got to poop in 2 minutes. Right. We got 30 seconds till you poop.
Managing your life.
10 seconds till you poop. Like I'm imagining him managing.
Just a producer of your life.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about here. It is like that. And and if you mess something up, he's definitely there to be like, took the turn a little too sharp there on the mower. We're gonna have to go back and hit that one again after the break.
Circle back.
So get in the game. Circle back after this in your ear. Don't forget to shake. Wash your hands.
That's true, dude.
Shake what?
Yeah. Or he can actually see your wiener in this, but
it's okay.
In both scenarios, he can see through your eyes though.
That might be a win.
So with when you shut your eyes, you see his face, he can also see through your eyes in that scenario too.
This one was tough for me, but I think I figured it out. I think I figured out which way I'm going. And it's less to do with like which one of these is better and more to do with my general state usually. When I close my eyes now, who the hell knows what's going to show up? It could be anything. And usually it's a little bit stressful. Like when I go to lay down and close my eyes, it's not just like peace in a constant image. It's like everything that I could potentially worry about just thrown onto my vision right there. If I could guarantee that every single time it was just Keith's face, that would get comforting. I would get used to it.
It's not a bad guy.
I could just know for sure that every time I close my eyes, it's just Keith looking right at me. And that's all I have to worry about. It's comforting
and warm.
I'm taking that. Keith, you are relieving nighttime anxiety by being just a constant presence when my eyes are closed. That's my choice.
I have another clarification question. Is it always, can I choose what face I get of Keith's, or is it just, it could be anything. It could be Keith crying, like ugly crying, or is it always Keith just smiling back at me in a comforting way?
It's actually going to work a lot of like I'm glad you asked. Simon answered without even asking. So it didn't really get to the bottom of this side
absolutely
of the thing.
reckless.
It's going to be a lot like
my life.
It's going to be a lot like the way that the portraits work in Harry Potter, where they're kind of they're kind of there. You also can't hear them, but they're kind of they got stuff going on.
All right, I'll take that one too. I think that one's the best out of two. I already like Simon. I have the same thing in my head, but it's through sound. So I'll just like hear things all the time, or like, songs will pop in my head all the time. I don't think I can add Keith into that mix without going absolutely insane. So I'll take the mind brain image.
So I'm solid, but I will say you guys missed out on some of the ups. I think there's a lot more upside in the having his voice available, because he could help you. Like you forget where your keys are. Keith could be there. Help
Is
with
Keith
that
going to be that helpful? Does Keith really remember where I left my keys?
I feel like he might.
Maybe.
This is slightly off topic, but I got to bring something up. I believe I saw a stand-up comic bring this up sometime. And now every time we talk Harry Potter pictures, like this thought just is overwhelming in my mind. How unbelievably pretentious that the Ravenclaw entrance is you have to answer a question properly through the portrait. Like you have to answer a riddle. Like they think not only that they are smart, but that everybody else that's not a Ravenclaw is so stupid that they couldn't possibly answer a riddle to get in. Know what I mean? Like there's nothing secure about that at all. Like it's just completely unsecure and pretentious. It's arrogant and unsafe.
Yeah,
Get
a regular
together,
real
Ravenclaw.
password is going to be a little bit smarter. Yeah.
Right? Like just a normal password without a riddle to solve is the.
Why
is
are
the
you
way to go
expecting
there.
them to have some top tier security? They're clearly just they couldn't even make it as like a top tier house in the school. They're like bottom 2. They can't be that good.
There's also so many magical options. Like, why not just make a spell that only Ravenclaws can go through the door? Like, they can obviously do that. Like, that would not be a problem at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
You must solve this riddle and prove your intelligence.
Right? And
Just to make it fun.
Yeah, and the dude obviously knows Harry Potter's not a Ravenclaw, but he's like, "Oh, you got the riddle, so I guess you're in Ravenclaw." Like,
yeah.
Like, I'd be like,
the rules that were
"Nice try, Harry. Everyone in the world knows who you are."
Yeah,
I see your scar, you idiot. Right? Yeah, no chance, dude.
Sorry for derailing us there. Just ever since it was brought to my attention, it like I think about it every time Harry Potter's brought up. Just ridiculous.
He said sounds like a win-win to me.
For Keith?
Related to the hypothetically situation.
The chat defending Ravenclaw.
Oh, wow, we got some Ravenclaw.
Don't besmirch Ravenclaw. I didn't realize we had so many Ravenclaw.
My girlfriend will be mad at me if she hears me besmirching Ravenclaw. She gets it on every quiz that you take, so don't tell her.
I always get Slytherin, and my Patronus was a hyena.
Oh my god, that's
about as evil as they make them, dude.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah. It was answering the question
the
super
weasel
evil.
of the villain world.
It keeps a typical Patriots fan. Yeah, Slytherin with a hyena.
Yeah, my
so Patriots.
My wand is like a crooked ebony, like like it's evil. Yeah, like
who has a crooked wand?
Twisted oak with a crooked wand,
made from the bones of children.
Exclusively. Yeah.
We also just mix oak in there.
All right, let's get back to the next questions. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, next question. Would you rather be a Ninja Turtle that doesn't know karate, or you wake up tomorrow and you can't read?
So, I have all the other, like, if I am a Ninja Turtle tomorrow, is it just physically I'm a Ninja Turtle? Like, because I don't know karate. So it's basically just I wake up tomorrow and I look like a Ninja Turtle. Is that what's going on?
Yep.
Do I get any of the other qualities that they have? Like
what other qualities they have? They like pizza.
They love pizza a lot.
I mean, the headband is a style choice. So I guess you could wear a headband if you wanted to. But I mean,
I would have to supply my own headband. I wouldn't wake up with a headband on.
I think you would actually wake up with a headband. I feel like that's a big part of being a Ninja Turtle. So you would get a headband in this case.
Which color headband?
Am I waking up as one of the pre-existing Ninja Turtles, or am I a new Ninja Turtle?
Luigi.
You would just be you would be a new Ninja Turtle. You'd be a new one, because like you wouldn't, like, people would know you weren't like Raphael once you started talking. You know what I mean? So you would be a new one, but you wouldn't know how to fight.
I think I know my answer. Jail, you want to go first on this one, or you want me to jump in there?
I'm gonna go. I'll go first. Actually, you go first.
You guys. Okay. Once again, you guys should be asking questions about the other option, just to see to the extent of.
Okay, well, that one's pretty clear. You just
can't read.
I can't read.
Can you read or no?
Can I ever learn to read again? Like, can I start reading?
Can I read another language?
That's an important question. No, you can never learn to read.
Okay, so this one's easy. One of them, I can't read. That really just hinders everything that I do, like all day, every day. I can't read. The other one, I'm getting rich, because you know what I am? A talking turtle. Like, I'm going around to every talk show. I'm getting on every single one of them. I don't even know what, like, Kelly Clarkson, I'm on there tomorrow morning when I wake up. Like, I'm calling her up like, Kelly, you're never going to believe this. I'm a talking turtle now. I don't know karate. Sorry if that's a deal breaker, but I am a talking turtle, shelling everything. And I'm going on a media run. I'm going on all the late night shows, and you're going to be rich just because you're a turtle. Like a talking turtle, you're one of a kind. There's lots of people who can't read.
And You guys didn't go deep enough into the questions because in this alternate reality, the other Ninja Turtles also exist. So you're just the one that doesn't know.
Do they hate you?
I mean, you're just not part of. I mean, you're not part of the crew.
But do they hate you?
No, I don't think they hate you. It's just like, they got stuff to do and you're not really helpful. So
Right. So they just kind of like go away. We're doing other things.
But you
So
could.
what would my name be? My name would probably be Simon still. I imagine I would still be Simon. I think.
I feel like that would be the kind of name that they would pick.
It works, Simon. Right? It works. Simon could be a turtle name.
I'd be Charles. I'm gonna okay. So between turtles and not reading, I mean, not reading is like Simon said. Everything I do involves some element of reading.
That'd be tough.
Even being on the toilet, I mean, I'm reading there. So what else am I gonna do there? Being a Ninja Turtle doesn't sound so bad. It sounds like you're pretty protected. You got a sweet shell. You could do some cool stuff with that. You could probably race in Mario Kart if you wanted to. I'm trying to think of a downside of being a turtle, and I can't, apart from being endangered. But that just feels like it'd make you more special. Like people would want to hang out with you more. So I'm gonna go turtle too.
Is there anything cuter than like a turtle eating a strawberry either? Know what I mean? Like, haven't you seen those videos of like turtles eating a strawberry and everybody just loves it so much? Like you could just go in public and munch on a strawberry and you'd be the most popular person in the room every time.
Every single time.
But you're not like I don't know if you guys remember what the Ninja Turtles look like, but they're not like, they don't look like normal turtles. They look like freakish.
That's right.
Monsters. They look like freakish.
That's
monsters.
true. That's true. But that's fine.
Okay.
I'll have lots of money, so.
Squirrel Bob taking this says you're the fifth brother who doesn't know karate, shunned by his master and brothers, and comes back years later to get revenge. It's your villain story. Then I'm imagining it a little bit like Incredibles, like the villain in the Incredibles, buddy. He was spurned. He doesn't have superpowers, but he comes together and like builds all this tech to make him super strong.
Yeah, I like how like the karate just did not even come into play for either of us. We're like, okay.
It was easy for me to imagine
now,
not knowing karate. Yeah, that wasn't a far stretch for me.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Let's next prompt. Let's take a peek at some of the ones we have available here.
What you got for us, Coop?
Let's see. Would you rather that you have to wear a fedora every time you eat a meal, or your only pair of shoes are Crocs?
Are Crocs? Oh boy. This is a question for us.
I have a feeling we're going to be on opposite sides of this one, JL. I don't even have to think on this one. I don't need any single clarification question. I know exactly where I'm going. This is something I'm passionate about.
All right.
JL, are you equally passionate, or do you have questions? It's pretty straightforward.
Say it one more time, just so I got it.
So either your only pair of shoes are Crocs, or every time you eat food, you have to be wearing a fedora.
What kind of fedora are we talking? Are we talking like the one with the lip in the back, the like milady, like neckbeard fedora?
Neckbeard fedora.
Or are we talking like Indiana Jones, like a badass cool fedora?
Indiana Jones has he has more of like a.
It's like a Panama hat.
Yeah,
but there are cooler fedoras with like the flat brim all the way around, maybe like the feather sticking out.
This is only when I'm eating.
This is full neckbeard fedora, like inappropriate to wear in just about any circumstance.
Yeah, I feel
there's like one guy in the entire world that can pull it off, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta be Frank Sinatra. Only while you're eating. So
Crocs are forever.
Well, the Crocs you only you could actually technically never wear the Crocs, but you would have to go barefoot forever. You only have one pair of shoes and it's Crocs.
See, the biggest problem with that is that I can't have multiple pairs of Crocs. Know what I mean? It's not even that Crocs are my only shoe. It's that I have to pick one color and just roll with it.
Did you ask?
Can I have more than one pair of Crocs?
Nope, one pair of Crocs.
One pair of Crocs. I'm still going with the Crocs side. What can't you do in Crocs? You can throw the Crocs into relax mode, put those straps up, use them as slippers around the house, or you can put them in sport mode. Throw that strap down, get them gripping your heel, and as long as they fit, you can run a marathon in Crocs.
Or Healy mode, and you can go and roller skate around.
Yeah, put them in Healy mode. If you want to work in a restaurant, Crocs are the preferred shoe of choice. They're slip resistant. Crocs are, so you can throw some Crocs on. You got slip resistant shoes
for your lobster claws.
Exactly. And you've got all these decoration options. In my Crocs right now, I've got a Valentina hot sauce piece of jewelry. And you know what? It lets people know what I'm about. I'm about
It's real
Valentina
hot sauce.
hot sauce. It's real hot sauce on my shoe. You can throw a llama piece of jewelry in there, a fire truck. The options are endless. It's Crocs. I love Crocs. I think Crocs are an elite shoe. They're worth every penny. And they're fashionable.
I would feel very sad never getting to wear any of my sneakers again and having to wear Crocs. Both of these options are going to just absolutely ruin my any sort of style game that I have going on. But the fedora is only when I eat.
JL.
I can eat alone with my fedora, or I could just eat in public with my fedora. That's fine. It's going to be ironic every time. It's going to get old for sure. But I'm gonna have to just point it out and make a joke about it every single time. I'm going fedora. I'm gonna look fantastic. Let's go.
Yeah, I like the fedora. The problem with the fedora play, obviously, is that like weddings and stuff like that. It's kind of a weird.
Well, you
move.
make it work. You just mix it in with this. Like, I feel like a fedora, you can't wear like a graphic tee with a fedora. Right? You got to be wearing like a suit. You got to be looking good. So
yeah, you got
See,
to
I'm
go
worried-
full Sinatra.
oh,
What I'm
full
more worried about is
Sinatra.
like if I wake up at 2 a.m., what if I can't find my fedora? I'm imagining like the fridge is locked. I lose my hats every
fridge is
day.
locked.
Every day I lose my hat. I put it down somewhere and then I just grab a different one. It's why I have so many hats. This one's off over here. Oh, there's another one. Let me grab that one, put it on my head. Let me grab
Your
this one,
house
put
is
it on
4
my head.
rooms.
Let me put
That's
this
why-
one right here. I
that's
just I keep hats ready. I'm gonna lose that fedora.
If you had Keith in your ear, keep helping you keep
He
track
can
of your
tell you.
hat,
That's true. That's
could tell you where
100%
your
true.
hat's
I didn't
on,
even
Instead,
pick
you're
that
just closing your
option.
eyes and he's just staring at you.
I just worry about
Useless.
what about like when it snows out, dude? Like Crocs.
You get a bunch of snow in your fedora.
Socks. Well, you can throw socks on with your Crocs. It's a look, socks and Crocs, or
Oh.
Crocs
Yeah,
does
Twitter
make
dragged me for that last year.
fur-lined Crocs. So you can get fur-lined Crocs.
Oh,
and I
but the
believe you can
summer
take
would
that
be a
liner.
nightmare.
I think you can take the
Summer.
liner out. Like I think it's like a fur liner that you can pull out and then just shove it in there in the winter.
Is that allowed?
It's versatile.
Dude,
As long
I
as
didn't
the pair
realize
of Crocs
you were
you
like
bought.
the foremost Crocs expert.
He's the Crocs guy.
I love Crocs.
He bought me Crocs for my birthday.
I did.
Sick.
That
Are-
was
are
a
you-
surprise birthday gift I received in real life.
Do you enjoy them?
I wear them to take out the trash
There you go.
and
In
pick
the
up
winter?
poops in the backyard in the winter. Yeah.
Strong.
I wear my Crocs everywhere where it wouldn't be wildly inappropriate. Like unless it would be very inappropriate to have Crocs on.
Would you wear
usually
Crocs at
have
a funeral?
Crocs on. Absolutely not. No chance. That's
disrespectful.
way past the line.
It's really
Well, I think
disrespectful.
Simon. Then, if that's the case, then you really there was only one answer for you, because if you went with the other one, then you would have Crocs on already, and you'd be wearing a fedora.
Exactly.
Then you're taking it to another level.
And
If
Get in the
you-
Game asked that already. They said Crocs and a fedora and an option. Ooh, I added a lot of ands in there, more than were written in that sentence. Crocs and a fedora and an option. No, Crocs and a fedora an option. He said, because I'm wearing that right now.
Screw the combo.
That is very
Um,
early in the morning to have Crocs and a fedora on already.
You just look like your average Redditor.
I like
out
how
Reddit.
Squirrel Bob was like, "What about if my pair of Crocs break? Do we get a new pair?" That's a valid question, Coop.
Yeah, you always have a reliable pair of Crocs in this situation.
Okay.
I'm not a monster here.
Then
I
I'm
will
wearing
say-
the heck out of those Crocs.
I've never had a pair of Crocs break, ever. I've had them wear down where the sole gets a little lower, but those things last. They are tough.
Is Crocs about to be the first sponsor of this show? Dude?
Shout out Crocs. They got Croc high heels. They got
Crocs about to
everything.
give us a bag.
Send me
I
some
think so.
Crocs, dude. Send me some Crocs. I don't have a pair. I never had a pair of Crocs.
Crocs,
Coop.
send Coop a pair of Crocs. We will feature them on the show more than
Let
we
me
just
know your
did for the last
birthday.
10 minutes.
Let me know your birthday, and I'll hook you up with some Crocs. Even maybe some jewelry in there as well, some Croc jewelry. Unless your
Croc?
birthday's really soon, then I won't.
Actually, it's a while from now. I was actually going
Okay,
to do that
thank
thing
God.
that you do where like you download an app and put your birthday like a week from when you download it, just to see if they do the birthday specials.
Oh, that's
My
smart.
birthday is May 31st, same birthday as Jordy.
Hey, maybe
Oh.
me.
One time in high school, my freshman year, so I made my Facebook right before freshman year, and it was still when I feel like now people will just post their social security number as their status and have their address in their bio, like privacy and internet security. I feel like the rules have changed, but I was still very much in the mindset of don't let anyone on the internet know anything about you. And so I didn't put my real birthday in there. I put January 1st as my birthday, just so that it was in there. It wasn't my real birthday. Well, on January 1st of my freshman year, I walk outside to go to the bus, and my entire driveway is covered in a giant chalk drawing happy birthday. There's balloons on my mailbox. I show up to orchestra and there's like a bunch of the friends in orchestra had like these posters and signs, and they brought me a cake. And because I put it on my Facebook that it was my birthday on January 1st, but my birthday's in August. Okay.
Oh my God.
And so like I show up and I'm just like, I'm freaking out. I'm 13 years old or 14, however old you are as a freshman. I was young and I'm like nervous, and it's all these older kids like celebrating me, hyping me up. And I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I get to cross country practice, and like one of the kids on the team was like, oh, like happy birthday. My girlfriend told me it was, and I was like, I told him like, it's actually not my birthday, but you can't tell anyone. He immediately ratted me out. Like first thing he did, like he called his girlfriend right there and was like, hey, just so you know, Simon's birthday's in August. He lied on Facebook. And it's one of my most like embarrassing moments is having to walk back into that classroom the next day after they like woke up at like 5 a.m. to draw on my driveway. Just humiliating.
What?
That's nice of them to do that, dude. Nobody ever did
super
stuff like that on
nice.
my
I know,
birthday.
right?
This is a warning not to lie about your birthday on the internet, because it can have unintended consequences. One that you
Always
didn't
tell
even
the
know
truth.
existed.
Yeah, I just told everyone my
Always.
birthday live on this stream, and I'll tell them after the break. I'll tell everyone my social security number.
Perfect. Guys, we got some more fun stuff coming up. We are going to be talking some team rankings. We're going to be going through and ranking teams from worst to best as we get closer to this NFL season. And our friend Nando DeFino is coming on with us a little bit later as well. Man, I'm excited to have Nando on. Guys, we want to hear your stories about your collectibles here on Better Sports Network. So make sure you guys are hitting that call in button. Come hang out with us. Tell us about us, some of your collectibles, some of your stories, some of your stuff that you want to mention as we head into this NFL season. It's one button. Hit that call button.
It's Sports Talk. Sports Talk done better.
The way that I have it laid out, so I knew we'd get into this. So I put my own rankings up there. I have Taylor 1, McCaffrey 2, Cup 3. That's how I would draft it, especially, again, we're talking at minimum half-point PPR league, maybe a full point. I would have Eckler 4. Now, the one that I was debating on was where do we put Derrick Henry? Because there is a track record for guys that are like him, that carry the ball a ton for multiple years in a row. He's coming off an injury. I know he was fine going to the playoffs last year, but all his yards per carry were less. His yards after contact were less. So I'm a little leery of him right now. I think Justin Jefferson in that Minnesota offense, I think Kirk Cousins is a sleepy, good, just solid, consistent quarterback. So I would go Taylor, McCaffrey, Kupp as the top 3. Eckler is my 4. I probably go Justin Jefferson as my 5. I actually like Najee Harris this year in the long haul better than Derrick Henry.
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So I'm not as worried about the offensive line. There's no other running back that I feel like that will attack him. And also, we've seen in the past, Mitchell Trubisky loved the check down pass back in the day to David Montgomery. I think that if he's the quarterback, that would be something that would be usable there. And Najee Harris, we can see Najee Harris get 80 catches this year. And then when you have a rookie quarterback like Kenny Pickett, if Pickett ends up being the guy, I think he's going to be checking down to Harris also. I think that Najee Harris has the potential to end up being, at the end of the year, the 3rd highest scoring running back.
Ahead of Eckler, even ahead of Eckler with the Chargers.
Eckler scared me, and I was watching an interview with him, and I can't. Did you see his interview? I can't remember what it was on, where he said, I'm excited to have other running backs in the room because I understand I want a long career. It was one of those like just cryptic things where, will he get less carries so that he can have a longer career? From a fantasy standpoint, that hurts you.
Yeah, no, that does. That might be the case, but when push comes to shove, is he the best running back in the room? He probably still is,
Yes.
right? So,
yeah.
And it's going to be a high-scoring offense in Los Angeles for the Chargers as well, with Herbert orchestrating it at the quarterback spot. It's interesting. Listen, I mean, you would not find a bigger fan coming out of Alabama than me of Najee Harris. And I did not mind when the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to draft him. I understand what you're saying. I'm a little concerned about what Trubisky and Pickett are at quarterback this year. I know what we've seen in the regular season. I know Trubisky had some success in Chicago, has now lived up to the billing of being that franchise quarterback.
Better Sports.
What's up, everybody? We are back here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show on Better Sports Network. And guys, do you know what time it is? Do you know what we're about to do?
What time is it?
It's time to give away another NFL signed jersey, baby. We are giving away an NFL signed jersey from one of the many former or current legendary NFL players. All you have to do to win is hit that call in button. Make sure you have the Better Sports Network app downloaded, register, and then there's a single button that says call in. Hit that button. Caller number 7 is going to be our winner today. So start hitting that call in button. We will let you guys know whenever we have a winner. I get so excited every time. I just want to see that that animation again. It's so.
I want to know what it is. Yeah. It's almost like opening like a pack of cards, dude. And like you don't.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well.
We will find out. We'll wait till we get the go ahead saying that we've got a winner. Before we do that, I see Fantasy Dog in the chat saying orchestra, cello, my guess. And you would be absolutely right. I played the cello for 7 years, Fantasy Dog. And then I didn't have it anymore whenever I went to college. I recently got a cello back, but it needs new strings.
Still never seen you play cello.
And I haven't played it. Maybe.
How do you know you were a cello dude like immediately?
I guess I just give off cello vibes.
Pretty cello.
Did you like it immediately, or did you have to like be convinced to stay with it and learn it?
No, I loved the cello. I originally didn't want to play the cello. I wanted to play the tuba, but I was all of 4'6" whenever I started middle school. Like I was so little that they kind of just laughed me out of the band room whenever I was like, I'd like to play the tuba. So I walked on over to the orchestra room
Bunch of jerks.
Tried the cello and I loved it. The cello was absolutely incredible, and I never had.
Who are these tuba gatekeepers in your middle school?
For real, I thought Simon was gonna be like, oh yeah, like a normal child would be like, oh, I wanted to play the drums or the guitar.
Yeah.
Not Simon. He's like, I wanted to play tuba. So
a little peek behind the curtain. I've always been one who likes something that's a little bit surprising or unexpected. Know what I mean? And I was very, very little growing up. So I just thought the comedy of being the smallest guy playing the biggest instrument would be really funny. And I honestly think that's the number one reason why I wanted to play the tuba. Like I wasn't even considering like the flute or the trumpet or the violin. Too little. It had to be something that made me look even littler for the comedy of it.
That's what we appreciate about you. You're in it for the bit, dude. Crocs, fedora, tuba, party.
Do it for the laughs.
Absolutely. I see a Get in the Gaming here wants to know, who do you guys like for Thursday night? Bills or Rams? Who do you think is going to win that game, Coop?
That is a tough one. I'm going to have to go with the Rams. I'm going with the home team. I think that I don't really believe in the Super Bowl hangover. And anytime you get a game that's close like this, I do personally typically lean into the home team, especially early in the season, because they're playing in the environment that they've practiced in this whole time. The Bills have to pack it up and move it, and play on a Thursday night. It could be a sloppy game, but I like the Rams. I don't know, Jail. Who do you like here?
I'm gonna go Bills. Bills are favored at 2.5 points. I think this could easily be the Rams or the Bills. So I don't fault you at all. I just think the Bills. I think the Bills are gonna have something to prove coming out into the season. I think they're pissed that they didn't go farther in the playoffs last year, and it feels like they're a bit of a more complete team. This whole Matthew Stafford news definitely concerns me a bit, and so I'll take Bills here.
And I'm not sure on this one. This one is super close, but JL, as much as I dislike agreeing with you all the time, I think I'm going to go Bills as well for all the reasons you stated. I'll take the Bills in this game. I don't think it's going to necessarily be as high scoring as the line says out there. And Getting the Game says I like Bills and the under. Yeah, first game of the season on a Thursday night. This may be lower scoring than we're expecting as we're getting the offense. The offenses are getting used to playing out there. So I'll take the Bills and the under on that one. Guys, keep on hitting that call in button while we're waiting for our producer to decide the winner. Figure out who call number 7 is. We'll let you guys know once we have that winner decided. We can go ahead and start on what we were going to talk about next, guys, and that is our team rankings. And it looks like we are ready. We've got our winner. Let's go ahead and pull her up on stage. I think it's someone that at least one of you might recognize. Who's it going to be? It's Coop. Coop is our winner. Just kidding. It's not Coop. Guys, we've got Maria on air with us. Maria, what's up? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, congratulations on winning the signed jersey today.
Woo! I am so excited. You don't even know.
Where are we going to hang it?
You got any hopes or dreams for who you think it's going to be?
Saquon?
If I had to pick, oh, wait a minute.
Sammy Coates.
Sammy Coates.
See, my first instinct
Ben
is
Watson?
Saquon.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
It's a good one.
That would be
It's a
sick.
good one.
He's
Eli?
a beast, man.
And I see
Eli's
Fantasy
always
Dog
good.
in the chat saying, I love Maria. Just saying. So you got
Me
some
too.
fans in the chat already.
Last night I watched like a 20-minute video of just stiff arms, and I think 5 minutes of that video was Saquon Barkley. Like
Really?
he has such a rowdy stiff arm. Yeah. Just like putting his hand in people's faces and putting them on the ground. Like,
I'm so excited to watch him play again this year.
Oh, yeah, he's nasty.
You know what? I would take anyone, though. I would take anyone. It's just an honor.
Well, Maria,
That's
we have
perfect.
We have an
'Cause
alternate prize as well. If you don't want the jersey that's up there, what we do have today is my library copy of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. So this is from a library. It is overdue. You will need to return it and potentially pay the fine as well, but you can read it first. Like the overdue fines are super cheap. So if you would like this library copy from the New Braunfels Public Library, it's all yours.
New
instead of
Braunfels?
the jersey. New Braunfels Public Library.
Can I know who the jersey is first, or do I have
Yes,
to make
of
my
course.
decision before?
That would be
I
pretty
just wanted
funny.
you to have this information ahead of time, but we can show you who the jersey is.
Okay,
Are we ready to
appreciate that.
Are we ready to reveal it? I think we can get that animation going, find out what the jersey is. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's go.
Get in the game.
Auto
game.
Oh, he's giving us this a 36th jersey.
36 is a good number.
Austin Hooper, boy.
Austin Hooper.
Let's go.
Austin Hooper on his new team, a Titans Austin Hooper jersey.
Wow. We could send that to
You guys,
James
I
Roday.
knew today was going to be my day. I knew it.
You knew it. You
Big
knew it,
day.
and you were right. It was because you came up with all those match game prompts. The universe is rewarding you.
I feel like
I'm
they're
so psyched.
rubbing it in my face with all these tight end jerseys, dude. Why am
They
I
have
should
to
be
be.
eligible? I should be eligible to win if it's a tight end. It's not fair.
That should be the rules.
So Maria, what's it going to be? The Austin Hooper Titans jersey, autographed,
Percy
or
Jackson.
the New Braunfels Public Library overdue Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief?
Simon, you made this so difficult. I'm going to go with the jersey, but I so appreciate the offer.
Okay, well then, guys, I might have to jump off this show a little bit early to go return this book since the prize wasn't taken. But Maria, congratulations on winning the jersey. We'll get that to you shortly. Thanks so much for coming up here with us today.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Guys, we're going to talk some bad teams in a little bit. So start thinking about which team you think is the absolute worst in the league. And for everybody watching, you just saw Maria win a jersey. We're going to keep doing that every single day this week. So if you do not already have the Better Sports Network app downloaded, go ahead and download it right now and get registered, because it's that easy. You just register and then hit the call in button. And if you are the caller number that we set ahead of time, you're going to win a jersey. We are giving away jerseys every single show this week. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Guys, let's go and start with who we think the worst team in the league is going into this season. The number one worst team, if we're doing power rankings. And what we'll do is we'll have as we're putting these rankings together, we'll come to a consensus. We might have to make some concessions, but we'll figure it out. Coop, who do you think, if we're going 1 to 32, who is down at 32 in your team rankings?
So
it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. I have a pretty personally clear bottom 4 or 5 or so. But the team, if I just have to give one team right now, it's the same team earlier that I said I think is going to have the first pick. And I think that is the Houston Texans. They were already looking pretty rough. And then the rookie wide receiver they drafted, unfortunately, got diagnosed with leukemia. So, they pretty much have the same weapons they had last year. They have a rookie running back they drafted in the 4th round, but I don't know how much that moves the needle. This team is very much a team that is looking to lose and potentially get a good pick. So I think the Texans are going to easily be one of the worst teams this year.
Man, I think for me, it's one of two teams. It's either the Texans or the Atlanta Falcons. I just have no idea with Marcus Mariota behind center, and they added Drake London, but Calvin Ridley's out for the season. I don't know what to expect from this offense, and there's not too much to get excited about. And then the defense is terrible as well. This is not a good defensive unit. It's a terrible offense that's probably going to rely on the pass game because they're going to be down. And then the person throwing the ball is Marcus Mariota or rookie Desmond Ridder. it's not pretty in Atlanta either. So I'm fine with the Texans. If you guys think the Texans is last, I might put the Falcons right below them, but I would lean Falcons, but I'm fine with Texans. Joe, what do you think?
I'm also going to go Texans. I think, to me, I wouldn't put the Falcons in with them. I think the Falcons are a tier above the Texans. I probably would put the Lions in with them. No, I'm sorry. Definitely. I would say Seahawks and Texans are my top, or I guess bottom two teams here. So I will go Texans as the worst team. I'll join Coop, but I think Seahawks are a close second.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think so. I think the Seahawks and the the Texans, Seahawks, Falcons are pretty clear bottom three for me. I know Pro Football Focus said that they have the Seahawks offensive line ranked 32nd. Our guy over at Fantasy Alarm, Dan Malin, that does offensive line rankings every year, has the Seahawks at 29th. So if they're going to have a bad offensive line and their quarterback is Geno Smith, then I think the Seahawks need to be one of these bottom three teams. We can put it in whatever order you guys want to do, Falcons or Seahawks. What do you think, Simon? You cool with the Seahawks at 2, or do you think the Falcons really should be 2? I think Vegas has the Falcons at like 4.5 wins. Just like
I think the Falcons really should be 2. Like I just think there's enough going on in this Seahawks team. I like the running backs on the Seahawks team better. I don't mind the running backs there. The receiving options are great. I know the quarterback is bad, but there's a little bit more to be excited about with the Seahawks than there are for the Falcons. So I would put the Falcons as the second worst team. But I'm fine if you guys both agree Seahawks.
Oh, JL, we gonna let him sneak those Falcons in there?
I think Seahawks are worse than Falcons. I feel pretty firmly on that.
Okay. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well, just because I think the division the Seahawks play in is also tougher than the one that the Falcons play in. Like the Cardinals are good, the Rams are obviously amazing, and the 49ers are good too. So I think with the division, that's what gives the nod to the Seahawks being the worst team, because I think they have virtually no shot at winning.
Yeah.
Like the Falcons could be better than the Panthers. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
that is true. I think the Panthers definitely belong in this conversation as we get up maybe a couple more spots as well. We're going to continue this in a little bit, but joining us shortly, guys, we've got our friend Nando DeFino coming on with us. If Nando's ready, we can bring him up any moment now, I believe. Let's pull Nando up here. And we've got Nando joining the show. For those of you that do not know Nando, you haven't been listening to his show, which you got to. Corey Nando and Friends, presented by the Mayo Media Network, is on this channel every day from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Nando, thank you so much for joining us, my man.
Nando.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
There he is.
Going well.
Yeah. Sorry, my mic, it just I started an electric fire. It smells like it's burning here in my room. So I had to go regular old microphone from the computer.
I don't know about you guys. Can you guys hear him twice? You sound like
I'm getting echo.
You sound like you're sending orders down to us from some sort of spaceship right now.
Oh, I got triple Nando too. There's 3 Nandos on my screen.
Coop, if you scroll down, you can see Nando 3 times, and they're all slightly delayed. It's like a round.
You're welcome.
Nando, sing something for us, because it's going to be slightly delayed.
Is this what you guys do on your show?
Row your boat. How's that?
I wish you could hear it.
Oh my God, dude!
You want to come back?
I have to go listen to this back.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off. I can get off and come back.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna jump out for a second. Yeah,
we'll get stop, dude. This is horrifying, bro. I feel like people in the chat are gonna be having PTSD from what just happened.
Guys, stay tuned. We'll be 1 second. Give us 1 second while we figure out what's going on with Nando. We'll be right back.
Dude, 100% sabotage.
Work. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it. Throws. Bartley picks a perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ. Lays it in. Right up 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up at him. And Boston has a 1-point lead. Went once, knocking left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the bank, and you're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downing, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to the World Championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? We are back with the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, and we are bringing our friend Nando DeFino up here to talk with us. As much as I loved the
Trey Nando,
triple Nando. Hopefully, we got just single Nando this time. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do this entire thing as a musical. Nando, we got you back.
Oh no!
You tell me.
Oh, the audio's good. I can just see
great.
triple Nando, so I can see triple Nando, but we only got one voice coming through.
I tell this is planned all along, dude, to come on and sabotage our show with your triple
100%.
screen nonsense, dude.
You should be thanking me.
Oh, there it is again.
Listen, you guys are picking the fight with the wrong guy. This is Corey Parsons started this whole thing. You're taking it out on me.
I mean, this was going to be a 3-on-3 fight right now, dude. We can each fight one of the Nandos.
Each of us takes a Nando.
Who wins in a fight? The three of us or 3 Nando DeFinos? Who takes
Oh my God, Nando's pretty tall. Pretty tall.
Yeah, actually, John Luke is taller. Yeah, John Luke's taller than I think people give him credit for it too.
I think we're the same height, close to the same height, maybe.
Maybe we should have gone back to
You're
back.
over 6 foot, right?
I'm like 6'1".
Yeah, we should have.
almost.
We should have. Next time.
Next time we'll
Oh,
measure
you're
ourselves
taller
on
than
one
me
of
then.
our
I'm
walls.
just short of 6 foot. Yes.
We'll do the back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, our
This
height.
is the
Yeah,
wall
for sure.
This is the fantasy measurement wall.
Let's get in the game in the chat says do it belly to belly.
Yeah, that's the only true way to know who's taller. It's got to be belly to belly. Nando, unfortunately, we're getting that triple feedback again. Let's see if we can get this working. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to bump you out.
Tell you what,
Go ahead, but hopefully we can get that working. Or did he sabotage our show, or did we bring him on purposely make it
sabotage
just so we can kick him off our show over and over and over again?
Yeah.
How many times in a day can we kick Nando off our show?
Just keep inviting him back and then keep kicking him off.
And Fantasy Dog in the chat said advantage Nando in that fight. And you know what? I tend to agree. I think Nando would win because I'm imagining the three of them can communicate without speaking. Know what I mean? Like it's one thought process. All the words were coming through. It would just be like Nando punches, and then it would be a slight delay as the other two punches came in and hit you as well.
Doom.
Exactly. You wouldn't even know what was coming. Hopefully we got it working this time. If not, we're just going to have to stage this fight right here. A sing-off, a cappella battle, 3 Nandos versus the 3 of us.
We said we wouldn't fire Keith today, but if he can't get Nando on here.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's back.
I called in on the app.
Welcome into the show, caller.
Fancy.
I'm a caller, regular old caller. Yeah.
You should leave a review, a positive review.
Smash that fun button.
Nando, I've been just inundated over and over again with your Winnie the Pooper card. So I just wanted to, do you have it? Can I see it in real time?
We need to see it. We've heard about it.
I've heard so much about Nando's pooper that I just wanted to see it live.
Hold on. I feel like I'm being set up for something, but I do have it here.
Yeah, and let us know where you keep it when you go to sleep at night.
Yeah, under my pillow.
Oh, and you got it in a hard card case. You got to get that PSA graded. Oh my God. Is that Tigger and Piglet being pooped on in Eeyore? That's disgusting.
Wow.
Poor Eeyore, dude. He already has a pretty rough time, dude.
I know, right?
That's like the last thing he needs, man.
Manic depression.
My favorite part about that card is that they took the shirt off when they had no need to. Know what I mean? Winnie the Pooh already doesn't wear pants. Why is he full nude on that balloon?
No question. Why question these things?
You're right.
Why question
You're right.
these things?
What am I doing right there? Sorry, go ahead. I thought Coop was jumping in there. Nando, I did have a question for you. So we were talking a little bit earlier on the show. Coop got into some beef yesterday with Blitz, the mascot of the Seattle Seahawks, on Twitter. So some real beef going back and forth. They were fighting with each other. Coop can fill you in on the details, but what I wanted to know is who would win in a fight? Because I think it's coming to that. I think they're going to have to fight in real life. Coop or Blitz? Who do you think's taking the W?
Does he have to wear the costume the whole time?
Of course. What else would he wear?
I don't know. I thought maybe like the guy who is Blitz gets to come fight Coop.
There's a guy in there?
Let me get a glimpse of this buzzard.
I don't know.
It doesn't look tough at all.
It's in the outfit.
Actually, he does look kind of tough. He does look kind of tough. Sometimes.
Yeah, I would. That might be. I mean, if it's with the costume on, then I think Coop can do it.
Yeah.
You think Coop would do? Okay, so the costume actually is hurting Blitz's chance here.
Well, you know the mascot code. You can't take the costume off. I mean, you saw Poe, the Ravens mascot, tore his ACL, and he didn't.
Yeah, he tried. He was just what they don't tell you in the news is that he was just about to take off his helmet thing, mask, whatever you call it, and then that's when he tore his ACL.
It's like luchador rules. If you get unmasked, it's shameful as a mascot. Like that is the ultimate shame that can be bestowed upon a mascot.
He went to take it off, and like he saw like up in the like higher like rafters, there was like the mascot shadow mafia looking down on him, being like, "Don't you dare take that."
Don't you dare even think about it.
Joey in the chat saying Nando was one of the first voices I ever heard talk about fantasy football when he was with the CBS FFT crew. So cool. He is on with us today. Absolutely.
Those are the days.
The good old days.
Were the days. Before you had to do a show with Corey. I'm going to tell him you said that, Nando.
Your words, not mine.
Not mine. I didn't say that at all.
I was friends with Corey back then.
You were.
Nando, sorry, go ahead.
That's all. We just go way back.
Before you came on, we were talking a little bit about who the worst teams in the league were this year. We're doing power rankings from 32 all the way up to 1. We didn't get very far, but so far at 32, we've got the Houston Texans, and then we've got the Seattle Seahawks as the second worst team. How do you feel about our power rankings so far from bottom up?
I mean, so I'm the kind of guy who always has nice things to say about the bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even you're like, all right, then who would be your 32? I don't know, but like I think
none of them
with Davis Mills, Lovie Smith, Pep Hamilton, they could surprise some people. I think maybe a little bit. I mean, maybe that still makes them the worst, but I think even surprising some people with a couple extra wins, that's something. The Seahawks, I just believe, Pete Carroll doesn't really have bad teams. Again, it goes back to the coaching. Like they got Rashad Penny. I'm probably the biggest Geno Smith fan you're going to meet ever of all time.
The only one.
Yeah,
the only fan.
It's maybe. Well, no, there's a guy who wrote for the Daily News. I don't know where he is now.
he said no. There's one more.
There's one other guy. Yeah,
I saw an article out there. But you're a bigger fan than that one other guy who wrote the article.
I can't tell. We gotta have a Geno Smith off, I guess.
Oh,
you gotta measure your Geno Smith fandom belly to belly with that man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
So we did have a little bit of a debate then. So if you were to, would you take the Seahawks or the Falcons? Which team do you think is better?
I like the Falcons. Falcons are coming second-year program. All the pieces are kind of still there, except for obviously the quarterback. I think we did this on the show. We went through Marcus Mariota's game logs, and like he has more 300-yard passing games than you think he would. I don't think he's as bad as people don't give him credit for. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a good team. Like I like the pieces they put together there. There's no like, I mean, it would have been nice if Calvin Ridley was there, but I don't think it's a horrible team. I think it's, I can put it this way. I think Seattle has parts that can come together. I think Atlanta is a much better team that can gel together and do well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mariota playing with Arthur Smith. So it's the offense he did do well in. He's back with that guy. So
there we go. Perfect.
Okay, you guys sold me on that one. So Nando, Geno or Marcus Mariota for fantasy this year? Because you said you're a big Geno Smith fan, but you were talking up Mariota a little bit right there.
Well, here's the thing. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, if I went into 2-quarterback league, I'd probably be okay with like the two of them and then like a Davis Mills. Well, maybe not Davis Mills. Maybe Davis Mills. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe this is more of DFS play for me because I like Mariota. I mean, they're the same guy. They can run. They're underrated. Geno Smith's playing in a system. It was built for Russell Wilson, basically, and he is Russell Wilson. You look at what Geno Smith like back on the Jets, just complete dysfunction. Had no receivers, nothing. The one shot he got with the Giants was unfair. He was replacing Eli Manning. His leading receiver had 6 targets that game, and it was like some dude you haven't heard from since. He just hasn't had like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and like a decent running back surrounding him ever.
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't know. I mean, I know he's 31 and he's, he could have ascended to starter a few times. He lost some time because of ACL injury. He got supplanted by Ryan Fitzpatrick in the last second. Like if you go through it's really a tragedy. It's like a Greek tragedy, Geno Smith.
He looked kind of good last year, right? Like for his stretch there, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked all right.
And I love the Davis Mills call.
They made him run. They just ran. Like they ran like 70 times that game. It was crazy.
Yeah, we were getting the Sir Plants in the chat. Multiple people. You said supplant, Sir Plant. Geno Smith got supplanted.
Yeah. So I love the Davis Mills call. People don't realize, I feel, unless they play DFS or they play best ball, that Davis Mills was like, in terms of putting startable weeks up, the best rookie quarterback. Like, the quarterback 12 averaged 18 points a week. Davis Mills had the most games that way. Davis Mills had multiple 300-yard games, multiple 3-touchdown games, more than Mac Jones had, and Davis Mills only started like 11 games. So in terms of a DFS play, like you said, Davis Mills is kind of a solid pick.
Yeah, no one wanted anything to do. They don't want anything to do with. Oh, I mean, there's a growing. They want something to do with him group, I think, this year. Yeah. But last year, man, they were just like, he was a joke, and then he was a joke again, and then a joke again, and then a joke again, and he just kept putting up numbers.
Yeah.
If you sorted by points, he was right there.
Right there, man. And the Vikings traded ahead of the Texans. The Texans had no draft capital. They traded ahead of the Texans and took Kellen Mond to kind of steal from the Texans.
Who they released.
And they've already cut him. And then Davis Mills is actually kind of decent. So you never know with those situations.
Who knew?
Good up there. Do you think Davis Mills can support more than one fantasy option as a receiver in that offense? Like Brandon Cooks, I think we're all bought in on, but do you think a Nico Collins, a Brevin Jordan, or someone else in that offense can step up and be fantasy relevant?
Yeah, those are and I think Rex Burkhead too. I mean, like
Rex Burkhead, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like I think they'll all be helping him. But yeah, I think I like this. I like the tight end. I like Brevin Jordan. I like him a lot. I don't like him a lot. I have learned. There's we do the whip arounds with all the beat writers and our guy Aaron Reese like talked him up for like a year and a half now at this point. And like at a certain point, you're like, all right, this guy knows the insides and outs of this team, and he's talking about how great this guy is and how he's gonna, the offense is being built around him. You see Pep Hamilton, the way he's run offenses before. Yeah, I think it's good. I think you can. Like Nico Collins is like a very trendy, in a weird way, like a trendy sleeper right now.
Yeah.
To me, Nico Collins, he's like the best comp for him is Kenny Golladay. You look at it, same 40 times, same size. They both win the third round. That's the comp I like there. And the thing with the Brevin Jordan, I'm with you. It's hard. You can't say you love him, right? Because it's like it's the Texans tight end, But
yeah.
That said, like we've seen every year, basically some guy comes out of nowhere. And if Logan Thomas, a converted quarterback, can come out of nowhere on it, with the quarterbacks he had playing the slot, why can't Brevin Jordan be a top 2 target on his team and come out of nowhere? So it's not as crazy as people think.
And Logan Thomas and Carson Wentz. Speaking of Logan Thomas, that's like another one. Like if you don't get in by that Pat Freiermuth tier, like you can just sit on Logan Thomas and try to do something there.
He was playing 100% of the 100% of the snaps the first 3 weeks of last year, he played every single snap. Nobody's doing that. So if he can get back to that, I know Ron Rivera loves him. I mean, like, there's something to be said about playing every play, you know? So definitely interested in that kind of thing.
Are you buying into this Damian Pierce hype, Nando? Are you as high as everybody else is on Damian Pierce? What's his ceiling?
I was doing, so, you know, when you go through your teams, like, who do I have a lot of? It was all I had Marlon Mack on every single one.
A lot of Marlon Mack.
I guess that's I mean, he's got, the thing is, it kind of like, I feel like we have these cautionary tales every year that we forget about. And last year's cautionary tale for me was Mike Davis. Like, we were looking at Atlanta last year, like, it's just Mike Davis, man. There's no one else there. Nobody.
Right.
And then Cordell Patterson just like shows up, you know, and is the
I'm
star.
here.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like, it just seems too obvious that Damian Pierce is going to be the starting running back there. And I feel like maybe there's someone else who's going to bust through and just do, I don't know who that is. I don't think it's not Rex Burkhead, but I don't know. It just seems too obvious. That's the only thing.
With him being drafted as an RB2, I've stopped drafting him as much. Like, if he was going in the RB3, RB4 territory, like a 30th to 40th running back off the board, I'd probably be scooping him up everywhere because he's a presumed starting running back in the NFL. But like you said, he doesn't have the draft capital. It seems wide open in that backfield. And that's a lot to draft him as like a top 24 guy. He's going around J.K. Dobbins right now. Like, I'm not comfortable picking him over J.K. Dobbins. It's not that he can't be that guy, but we have to remember he's still in the Texans offense as well. Like the best case scenario is the starting running back, the lead back in the Texans offense. So you're already capping yourself a bit there. It's just too high of a cost.
Script. There's a bunch of things. Now. Yeah, there's a bunch of things working against him.
Our generation's Michael Carter is what he's set up to be this year.
Our generation's
I'm old enough to remember Michael Carter.
He can be Robinson. Yeah, like, that's the other side of the coin. It's like, I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't have a feel for it. I'm just not getting near it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. Like, it happened to me with Gabe Davis, where I liked Gabe Davis, and then he started getting picked at wide receiver 20, and I was like, okay, this guy has 30, 35.
A little much.
Yeah, it's a little much for me. Like, I see the upside, but I see the floor too. And once you start drafting hypotheticals ahead of already ours, that's when I got to bow out. Same with Damian Pierce. I liked him until his ADP went up 175 spots, and now I'm just like,
Yeah, Fantasy Dog in the chat said 39 broken tackles on 106 carries. I'm assuming he's talking to Damian Pierce.
In college,
yeah.
At Florida, those were his stats down there. Nando, I don't know if you've listened to us play our game hypothetically on air, but we wanted to run through at least one hypothetical situation with you. It's a game where we throw some crazy hypotheticals out there, and your job, you got one job and one job only, is to tell us what you would do and take it to the extreme, like fully live that scenario out, whatever it is.
The hell out of it.
Who's throwing the question to Nando? Is it me or does one of you guys want to do it?
I think it's Coop.
I did them. Yeah, Coop? I've been doing them today, so I'll do this one. So obviously this is a football show. So here's your question.
Okay. For all of us, right?
For all of you guys, yeah. So yeah, very serious football show. So the question is,
very serious.
Would you rather drive a pink VW Bug for the rest of your life, or poop exclusively in a porta potty that's in your front yard?
I definitely take the pink car. Yeah, 100%. I'm in.
I'm with Nando on this one. One side's a win and one side's a loss. Like, I would be badass driving around in a pink VW Beetle. Like, I could rock the hell out of that vehicle. Nando in the passengers. You know what? No, Nando's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. We're cranking some Carly Rae Jepsen, and we are flying down the streets with the windows down. Me and Nando, Joe, you can hop in the back seat if you want, but that's really the only room for
it's just a two-seater, but I'll still hop in the back seat.
Well maintained, but like on those hot days, like morning.
Hope I'm losing you a little bit, Nando.
Cutting out a little bit, Nando. Couldn't hear it all.
Hold on, I can hear another feed from my phone again.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe you're double hearing us.
Yeah. No, I hear Pat Mayo. It's like it's playing a Pat Mayo clip on my phone from the other day.
Oh.
Maybe you lost a round of hypothetically earlier where it just put Pat Mayo in his ear. Like, he has Pat Mayo's voice in his ear at all times now, narrating his life as he goes through.
So I have a follow-up question for this, Scoop.
Yeah, of course.
Who is in charge of emptying the porta potty in the front of your house?
Oh, that's
so it wouldn't be you. A company would come and take care of it, but it would be enough time to be where
how frequently
it would be. It would your typical porta potty experience. Like sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's not. So just picture that type of experience with the porta potty.
Now,
They give me the bug.
I do have like a fully fenced in yard, like all sides of my house. So I wouldn't be too afraid of other people using it. But my house also is really close to a bus stop. So if
You
that
also
gate's
live in
unlocked,
Texas.
I could say, a porta potty in Texas. You're like,
Out
that
in that
can't
summer
happen.
heat.
No
Oh, yeah.
way.
You'd be dead.
And also, I poop like 6 times a day.
Yeah, you'd be out there a lot. You lose a lot of weight from sweating and pooping.
Ooh, that would be gross.
Are the Texas summer poops the worst, or are the like Boston winter poops the worst?
Texas summer poops.
You think so?
I'd rather shiver, and I can put more clothes on. I can only get so naked in my front yard. Know what I mean? Like I can only have so little clothes on as I go outside, but I can put on another jacket, and a bathrobe. Sometimes I'm layering up just at night to go poop anyways in the house. Throw that bathrobe on top of the pajamas and get in the games at 6 times a day. What are you, a hamster?
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Coop, do we have another hypothetically we can throw Nando's way?
Yeah, unanimous bug.
Okay, yeah. Let me take a peek here. Okay. Would you rather that every time that you cry, you scream out, Rudy? Or when you talk, your normal voice, it is always the way Bill Belichick talks in his press conferences.
Crying. It seems fair. You know, if you see a guy crying, I guess, see someone crying, them screaming out Rudy kind of seems like anyone. That seems like it would be okay. You know?
Yeah. You feel for them.
Rudy, yeah, that's fine. That's no problem.
See, I'm just imagining sitting at a funeral and like it gets to the really sad part, like just really sad, and my emotions overwhelm me, and then all of a sudden, like it's quiet. They're showing a video montage,
Grandma
and I let out
Beatrice.
Rudy,
That's
which like
the
if the
problem.
person's name is anything but Rudy, that
It's
is
Ruth.
wildly inappropriate. Like if their name is Rudy, then you were overwhelmed by emotion.
It's just
But you
your
can
affection.
only-
It's your endearing nickname you gave old Aunt Ruth.
And
Or, like,
also,
if you're at a
you're like
wedding-
what if you're like a Pixar movie in the theaters and it's actually like kind of like a happy cry, but you still got to scream Rudy? Like
They finally found Dory.
There's some downsides to the Rudy side.
There are some downsides.
I think I'm going on the Bill Belichick side, but this one's really tough for me because I feel like Bill Belichick leaves people with questions about what he's feeling every time. And I get really anxious when I feel like there's miscommunication with other people. So if I had to always talk like Bill Belichick, I would feel like no one would ever know what page I was on emotionally. And I would just be constantly worried about if everyone thought I was a dick after we just talked to him. Like, I don't get Bill Belichick's mindset. I just sound like him. Like, I don't have the roughness and like the toughness, the mental toughness that Bill Belichick has.
Yeah.
This show would be ruined for sure because we're trying to wake people up.
Yeah. Yeah. And Simon's just like, hello.
Sorry, what was that, Nando?
What? I said the monotone Bill Belichick voice, just kind of. Yeah.
It would ruin
Coop, I
all
think
our
we
radio channels. We'd just be like, yeah, we're on to we're on to a
next
break.
segment is the segment.
You see you can see this card I have here.
Can we get Bill Belichick on the show? I think we need to get Bill Belichick on the show.
Let's get him on the show and then just talk like him the entire time. Also, Craig says, wait, that is how I talk on shows. Is that bad? That is not how you talk on shows, Craig. Craig with the self-deprecation in there early in the morning. It's too early to be self-deprecating, Craig. Coop, I think we got time for one more with Nando. You want to throw us one final hypothetically?
Hurry up before something else weird happens.
Okay.
Never know. Keith behind the mic here.
From the list here, would you rather have a football-shaped face, or would you rather have a ref show up and throw a flag and embarrass you anytime you did something wrong?
I'd probably have. That seems fun. Maybe. I guess not how often you do something embarrassing.
That's true. That's true. You have to factor that in. I do something embarrassing every day. That's my whole brand. So it
Although
might.
if you, like this is almost like a football.
Yeah,
just sideways the other way.
I assumed horizontal, but I guess.
All right, then I'm the.
Oh man! All right, I
This
think
one's tough.
I think I'm gonna go. Do we have a ruling on that, Coop? Do we know if it's vertical or horizontal? Because that might change my answer.
I'm actually gonna. because it wouldn't change things as much for Nando, I'm gonna go horizontal and say that it's a straight Hey Arnold style. So yeah, you can't just keep your own head, Nando. That's cheating.
You know what? Picking the football head, I think would actually make my head smaller. Like, even though a football is generally big, like I've got a massive noggin. Like whenever I was in Nashville and trying on cowboy hats, I was like, surely the large will fit. Nope. Okay, let me grab the extra large. Nope. Okay, let me grab the 2XL hat from this place in the middle of the South. Like, there's big heads rocking through Nashville, and I still required the 2XL. Like, I'm tempted to take the football head. It'll be oddly shaped, but it'll be more normally sized. Like, it'll be a normal sized head.
Oblong.
I'm really excited about this football head.
I'm gonna take the referee. It's gonna be super disruptive because I embarrass myself all the time, but at least I don't have a football head.
Yeah. Nando, where are you going on this one?
Same.
Taking the flag. See, my biggest concern is just like, I don't know what did something wrong means. Like, if I just don't put my dish in the dishwasher and because I'm running late, is this guy going to come out of nowhere and throw a flag at me?
Smack you in the face with the yellow
Now
flag.
that I think of it, the real problem for me would be like with my fiance, dude, because we get into an argument and then the ref comes in and she'd be like, see, and I'd be like, oh my God, are you kidding me, dude? Like,
yeah, but if it doesn't come in, you're like, see?
Where is he? Yeah, where exactly? It'd be nice to have a ruling on everything.
Carl's
right?
not here.
That's kind of a pro. Yeah, you got the. Yeah.
You say something and you start looking around, like waiting to see if a flag gets thrown.
And she's like, that doesn't even matter.
All right.
Nando,
I think I'm sold on.
Nando, thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with us a little bit today. We really appreciate it, my man.
You're the man, Nando.
Got all the issues. I think I got them fixed. I don't know how I'm going to do my show without a board, but we'll see what happens. We got some 5 hours.
I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I'll be in there.
Guys, we'll be tuning in, but everybody else, make sure you tune into Nando's show later this evening as well, or this afternoon. Corey, Nando, and friends will be live with Corey Parson from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on the Better Sports Network app. So make sure you guys tune in for Nando's show a little bit later. Our rivals. Nando, thank you so much for joining us today, my man.
We're your pals. Anytime.
Yeah.
We'll see you later, Nando. Thank you. Man, I love Nando. That's a good dude.
He's the
man. I love that we got to see his pooper live. You know what I mean? We've heard all about his pooper, and he showed it to us live.
Showed it on the show.
Guys, we are going to be not finishing. We're going to be getting a little bit further into our team rankings and maybe hitting on some more news topics. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
And follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers agreed to a restructured 1-year contract that will keep him in San Francisco this season. The contract contains no trade and no tag clauses, assuring Garoppolo will remain in San Francisco this season with the freedom to leave next year. Well, apparently Lynch did not want him to go to Seattle. He didn't want to.
Because they played in week 2, but I figured they'll cut him because they got to do something. But they restructured the contract.
So
affordable, but now he's in the shadows.
Like that is exact. We talk Tom Brady conspiracy theories. Let's get wild here. Are they sold on Trey Lance? This is the weirdest situation. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's in the building. He's working out by himself. He's in solitary confinement in their facility. And now all of a sudden, hey, welcome back, Jimmy. You're our backup quarterback until Trey Lance throws 3 picks in a game.
No, it's so crazy, right? Because you cannot tell me that they do not realize they made a mistake. And I know everybody in the chat is like, oh, here we go again. But they made a mistake. When they had the 3rd pick in the draft last year, they should have took Mac Jones. Mac Jones was clearly the guy. He'd have been phenomenal in this Shanahan offense. They took Trey Lance, and now you're like, we can't play this guy. Put it like this, Joe. Last year, one of the 49ers' issues was short yardage. They couldn't even get Lance on the field for a short yardage package. I don't think they really are that comfortable with him. And I know it's guys in that locker room that prefer Jimmy G over Trey Lance.
I'm sure there is. And, I think Lance, though, might be one of those guys that you need to see him in game action.
Okay.
And then you're like, oh, okay. I see it now. And by the way, the right move for the 49ers is to give Trey Lance the gig and see what he does with it.
No doubt. Mm-hmm.
But let's talk from a fantasy perspective. Now, I'm not sure this moves I have Lance in my top 10, by the way. I'm not sure this moves my rankings a whole lot because in a typical one quarterback league, and this is critical, one quarterback, I think you can take the hit on Lance, and if he stinks or gets bent, you can replace him. You can go get Ryan Tannehill off the waiver wire. You're going to go be able to get competent quarterback play. As a matter of fact, I did a salary cap auction draft last night, and I took both Lance and Fields because I'm like, I got two flips of the coin here, right? But there's a 75% chance that comes up heads at least once. You know, that's the way I looked at it. But I got to tell you, man, this does make it less likely that Lance hits this year. I don't know, man, but here is the funny part. Garoppolo would probably make me feel better about Debo and Ayuk and Kittle just because I know he's going to distribute the ball.
If it gets out of whack, you can put Jimmy G in, and no matter what you say about him, son wins football games. You know what I mean?
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Yeah, we are back with the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. A big thanks to Nando DeFino for coming up and hanging out with us for a little bit. Guys, for real, make sure you check out his show this afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. with Corey Parson. Those guys are the best, and they got that knowledge that they're dropping on you and an occasional garbage pail kid.
Yes, absolute must follows. Nando DeFino, Corey Parson, they're fantastic.
They're great guys. Guys, before Nando jumped on, and we got a little bit of Nando's opinion. We were talking some of the worst teams. We were putting together our rankings. I think we should round out our bottom 5. So I know we had 2. We said the worst team in the NFL, Texans. We said second worst, Seahawks. And then I think the Falcons go next. I know Nando made an argument that Falcons shouldn't be next, but that's where I would go. I had Falcons at 32. So I think Falcons are up next. Who would you guys have as that 30th best team in the NFL? Rounding out the bottom 3.
I agree with the Falcons. And they also do have the second lowest over-under win totals of Vegas. So they have to – I think the Falcons they need to be second to last or third to last, but I'm with Nando that it should go Texans, Seahawks, Falcons. Lock it in.
You cool with that, JL?
I'm going back and forth between Falcons and Lions. I have them in the same tier. So it sounds like it doesn't matter because you guys both went Falcons. So it's going to be Falcons, and I'm okay with that.
That's fine. And I have the Lions a little bit higher up than even like the next team. Like there's a couple more teams I want to that I would throw below the Lions. Like I'm excited about some of the pieces in this Lions offense, like DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I guess Jameson Williams, whenever he comes back healthy. So I just think the Lions are a decent team. Like they're not the best in the league. They're probably below average, but a little bit closer to that, like 25 line ish, but we can talk about that. So we got the Falcons next on this list. JL, it sounds like you would put the Lions next. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm going to put Jets next. I'm sorry. I'm going to put Jets next.
That is the team I was going to bring up, especially with the Zach Wilson injury, Joe Flacco at quarterback. And then even when Wilson comes back, we don't know if he's the dude yet. Like, is he the guy? I'm going to say the Jets as well. Coop, what do you think? Are you agreeing with JL and I?
Yeah, I have 2 teams that I think are worse than the Lions. I think that the Bears are one that I think is going to be a pretty bad team. They're clearly doing a bridge year where they didn't go out and get any weapons really. So, it's a brand new coaching staff. There's going to be some growing pains. So I think this is kind of a bridge year for them. I think they wanted to collect a compensatory pick for Allen Robinson leaving, and they kind of messed that up by signing. They didn't pay enough attention to the contract or something because they're not going to get it. So just kind of the worst of both worlds for that team. I think the Bears need to be down there, but the tiebreaker for me is that Keith's favorite team is the Jets. So
that's true.
They need to be as far down this list as possible. So I would put the Jets at 4.
Jets it is. And Coop, you brought up the other team I was going to bring up that I was thinking before the Lions, and it's a team from that same division, and it is the Chicago Bears. I expect them to be improved offensively from last year, but they can improve offensively and still be a bottom 5 offensive team in the league. Like just because they get a lot better offensively doesn't suddenly make them good. Like they have a lot of room to go up in those rankings. Like I do expect an offense designed around Justin Fields is going to make it better, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to make this team competitive. Like I just don't see many wins on their schedule. JL, Bears or Lions? Where would you go?
I'm going to go Bears. Yeah, I think that they have way too many holes in this team to be really very effective this year. I think the Lions could piece together more wins than the Bears. like they did last year. I think the Lions had more wins than anybody was expecting this past year.
And they still tied for the fewest wins.
And I see getting the game mocking me a little bit. Whenever I was going through the pieces I was excited for on the Lions, Amon-Ra and Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift.
Chark, baby, chark me up.
TJ Hawkinson, another name there. And then Jared Goff is fine. Just
they have a great offensive line too. Like quietly, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow,
Penei Sewell, elite pick.
Man, the more we talk about it, I feel like there are some other teams that are in that conversation. Like the Lions aren't the clear-cut next team. I think we can talk Giants, we can talk Jaguars, and we can talk Panthers as all teams that might be worse than the Lions. JL, would you put the Lions the worst out of those four? Like Giants, Panthers, what was the other one I said? Jaguars and Lions.
Yeah, I would. I would put Lions next. As unfortunate it is, I do love the Lions. I got that Hard Knocks hype, fever, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think the Giants are going to be able to put together more wins. I think the Jaguars going to be able to put more wins than the I said Bears. No, we said we're talking Lions. Yeah, because Bears we already locked in.
Yeah, I think a lot of those names can be considered in this group, but the Lions are still they're in the second. Last year was the year they're tanking, right? Like the Dolphins did it in 2019. They basically let all their free agents go. They had a ton of dead cap, and then they. Basically, they're bringing in comp picks, they're doing all that. The Lions just did that last year. They let Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, Jamal Agnew, and Matt Prater leave for comp picks. They didn't sign any incoming free agents so they could get the maximum 4 compensatory picks. And then this year, they kind of finally just started building the offense, but it's still pretty raw. And I think they still need a quarterback. So I think the Lions got to be next. But some of these teams could be bad. Like the Jaguars there. The Jaguars could be bad. It's a brand new coach, brand new offensive system. So they're in the mix. And then of course, if Daniel Jones isn't it, then the Giants could once again be terrible.
I'm fine putting the Lions next. I think it's a tier for me of those next couple teams. Lions, I think if this was just me, I would probably put Giants and Jaguars below them as well. Panthers above them, but I'm fine with the Lions at 27. And we've got our bottom 6. We'll keep running through these throughout the week, but our bottom 6 from 32 to 27, we've got the Houston Texans as the worst team, followed by the Seattle Seahawks, then the Falcons, then the New York Jets, the Chicago Bears at 28, and the Lions at 27. I see Matt in the chat saying Bears, hello. Don't worry, we got the Bears below the Lions, Matt. He's a little mad with the Lions being down this low, but at least we put them ahead of the Bears. We got the Bears below them.
Said Lions to win the North. That's a stretch.
Lions to win the North. I mean, Rodgers, lost some weapons. Coaching turnover for the Vikings. Could be some growing pains there.
I wonder what the odds are. I'm going to pull that up right now. I'm curious what the odds are for the Lions. Okay, so obviously the NFC North. Who do you think's favored to win that division? If you had to guess, Packers. According to the FanDuel Sportsbook, they're at minus 155. The Packers are.
Not worth
who do you think's next? Vikings are next at plus 240, but the Lions are third at plus 950. So they're at plus 950 to win the North. Bears at plus 1200. Are you guys taking the Lions plus 950 to win that division?
No. I mean, you're getting paid 10-1 money, but I bet that line would be even higher.
Win the division first.
Yeah. If they weren't on Hard Knocks this year, that line would probably be even higher.
That's true.
Every year you get the Hard Knocks hype, the Hard Knocks bump. What's the Bears? Did you say the Bears?
Plus 1200 for the Bears.
That's not going to happen.
No, you're just throwing that money away.
And I think it's not worth betting on the Packers either because the Vikings are such a good team. Like if it's such a clear favorite, I don't mind betting when it's like plus 150. Basically, you're betting 100. Is it plus or minus?
It's minus 155.
So you're betting $155 to win 100. I don't think that's worth it because it's got to be a slam dunk for me to bet that. And if I do think it's a total slam dunk, then you put like 500 on it to win like 300 or whatever it is. It's a little early for math. But
so like Buccaneers minus 230 in that division. Is that one that's clear enough for you to be willing to kind of take that to do what you're talking about here?
That's the kind of one that I would do it. Or maybe even like the Bills. I think I don't think the Dolphins are quite there yet on the Bills level. So like, I don't know what the Bills are. But
minus 230 as well.
Yeah, so I would slam that minus 230. Like that's one I would take because I think I'm that confident in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you on that. I don't think the Lions are winning the North, but that's a fun one to cheer for. That's a team that I like cheering for. That's a coach I like cheering for. Guys, before we go for today, there was a couple more news stories that I thought we could hit on very briefly. This one is interesting, and Coop, you might have a little bit more invested in this one. It's some Patriots news. So Patriots coach Bill Belichick said that Ramondre Stevenson's attention to detail of route running have certainly shown up in practice. Are you buying into Ramondre Stevenson getting some more receiving work this year?
I mean, it's a 2-back system, and Stevenson on paper doesn't seem like that player, right? Like he's so big. He seems more like the Derrick Henry or AJ Dillon type player with his size, right? Like he seems like he would be the guy in the early down role. But if they're going to use Damian Harris in that early down role and Ramondre Stevenson in that pass catching James White role, Ramondre Stevenson, to me, in the formats I play, where I don't play standard leagues, becomes more valuable than than Damian Harris potentially. So the thing that scares me is that it's going to remain like it always is, where those two are splitting one role and somebody else gets the other role, Ty Montgomery or somebody. So something to keep an eye on. It's a low floor proposition though.
Yeah. Jill, are you drafting Ramondre Stevenson ahead of Damian Harris now with this news?
No,
you're not doing that. Man,
nope.
I'm probably just drafting whichever guy goes later, but if there's not that big of a difference, like if they're going in the same range, I'll take Ramondre Stevenson for that little bit of upside. Guys, we are wrapping up here today. Everybody who joined us this morning, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time, like we are every morning. Stick around on the Better Sports Network channel, though. Moose and Keith are coming up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru, and then Corey Nando and friends going to be on from 3 to 5. Followed by the Playbook with Fensty and Ronis presented by Fantasy Alarm after that. There's a whole afternoon of awesome programming. Stay tuned. We will see you guys tomorrow morning, though.
We love you.